out. Guns
but
out.
I see a clock. How's it going, everybody? Welcome to the pre-show for the Kind of Funny Gamescast.
The first ever.
The first ever pre-show for the Kind of Funny Gamescast.
I'm getting the chat right now. Oh,
Thanks, Kevin.
there it is.
All right.
All right.
Oh,
I'll be back in like
we were very
Okay.
relaxed and prepared before this. Let me tell you.
Well, if by relax and prepared you mean everybody was playing VR of some sort in the office, then yes, that is correct.
Yeah. You should check Nick's Twitter.
Was it on his Twitter or his Instagram?
Instagram. He doesn't really use Twitter that
Let's
much.
go. Let's check it out.
I don't know what's going on. I slid in
Nick
too much, man. My
Scarpino.
knees are like in between the shelving. It's weird. Ow.
Wait, how do you see
It's
stories?
Ignacio, how's it going? Yes, you've got a little Frandria's pre-show.
That's right.
It's nice that we both get our full name in there. It's good.
It's the best.
It just
Throw
works.
up your Frandrias.
This is your Frandria.
Ponzer, jumping the gun. We were only just a couple minutes late.
Panzer? It was very fancy of you.
What is it, Panzer?
Panzer.
Panzer.
Panzer, like Fran. What's going on, Nick?
Question for you guys.
We were
Yes.
just talking about your
Way more.
Instagram.
Thank you. You guys are ridiculous. I might be going to a fine dining establishment called
Ooh.
McDonald's.
Yes.
Would either of you care to partake in said exercise?
I might not have time, but I'll grab a couple nuggets on the way out the door.
Nugs, okay.
Yeah, I'm fine because like as soon as I,
Yeah.
I'll take off as soon as I leave.
Okay, have fun.
But thank
yeah,
you so
I'll
much for
steal a
asking. It's
fry or
very,
something
it's
from
very
you, though,
kind
probably.
Oh
of
no,
you.
I'm still bringing home hell of shit. I just want
Yeah.
you guys to know.
Just
nothing
use your
from it.
best
Thank you, though.
judgment with the nuggets.
when it comes to McDonald's, I have no
The
judgment.
last
I have
time I
zero
went through the
judgment.
drive-thru with Nick to bring home an office order,
I got judged.
I had to walk him back from ordering 20 too many nuggets.
I was
Oh,
gonna order
yeah.
60,
You can
and
never.
the
have
guy
too
was
many.
like, I asked the guy.
No, you were
Andrea's
gonna
like,
order 80.
80?
80.
Would have been worth it.
And I
Yeah,
was like,
right.
no, Nick, no, it's too many nuts.
Andrea pulled me back from darkness, but the real kicker, was the guy that was came over the speaker. I was like, "Can you guys do 80 nuggets?"
They're
and the guy
probably like,
literally
yeah.
waited a perfect comedic beat, and then was like, "I mean, it's 80 nuggets." And I was like, "Fuck, there was judgment there. There was
He's
so
like
much
double
judgment."
checking that you wanted it as well.
Yeah, he was like, "You don't need that, bro. You don't need that, bro."
Yeah.
Yeah. The reason I'm also not getting because I do kind of want something, but if I get anything, I will fall asleep and I have like a show to do after.
Yeah, that's fine
as well.
Yeah, McDonald's
it's not
puts
worth
it in you.
It
Can we
will
talk-
just be a pillow.
come
Can we
on,
talk
yeah.
about Fran's speckled Henley right now because it's amazing?
You
It's
can't
nice.
see it. You can't see it
You
as
can't
well.
see the
on show. It is
speckling.
nice.
And you can't really see the
John
Henley
Varvatos,
because
Nick.
his
Right?
microphone
Of course, it's John Varvatos.
stand
Of course
is
it is.
blocking it.
$400 Henley.
No, it is not. It was not that bad. The T-shirts have gotten more reasonable.
Have they?
Well, I get them on sale a lot. Like I go right at the right time.
Smart.
You know, you get 20, 25% off, and then it's like a normal-ish T-shirt.
I like that.
Ish.
I like that look.
It's worth it, man. They last a
Nice.
while too if you take care of them. Anyway,
Yeah,
what are
but-
you gonna
Oh,
get?
thank you
McDonald's?
so
I'm
much.
just gonna eat a couple chicken sandwiches,
No?
probably.
You know what? My standard
Nothing for me.
is a double quart pounder with cheese.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, just ketchup.
Hell yeah.
Thanks, cool Greg.
So good.
All right, have fun.
All right, have fun at Mickey D's.
McDonald's. Andy, you want McDonald's?
Oh yeah, I just said get some nugs. Shopping.
He wants sweet nugs.
That birthday present. Should we also go to
So what's been going on? Let's see. What's good pre-show content?
Yeah.
I mean,
Do you guys
You
got
already-
questions?
Game of Thrones is over. You guys already talked that to death. I was playing Beat Saber in the kitchen. We're gonna talk about it on the show because I wanted to try because I hadn't tried Oculus Quest and I actually haven't played PSVR in forever either. And Andy was playing Everybody's Golf, so I tried that. So I tried them back. to back.
golf.
Super shot.
with the good music?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ding, ding,
Joey's
ding,
doing
ding.
a great dance
Golf
right
music just in general always has very pleasant music.
Is that like a lower dab?
Ignacio,
Like, what
I
is
didn't
that?
skip your sub
It's the-
today. It wasn't in the session that I
Andrea
was
too.
reading. It might have been
you
in the
like?
session before because we do a
What
session start, and sometimes if the people sub when the show is not live, we can end up missing some of those. And if that was the case, I'm sorry,
Just
but
tell
like
them the truth,
I
Andrea.
wouldn't. Yes, I hate you.
We're not going to read your name anymore. That
Yep,
came up in
you're done.
a crew meeting, Ignacio, and it's questions like this
Sick
that
of
have got you off the list.
Sick of it. No, what you gotta do?
messy.
What you gotta do with Ignacio? Like, you know, you'll see a comment that's meant to annoy you, and you ignore it, and then later on there'll be a nice one, and
Right.
then that's the one you read.
Yeah, you got to like positive
Yeah,
reinforcement.
yeah, yeah.
You
Yeah.
can't read all that.
Yeah,
Actually-
I forgot. I guess I was playing Dauntless, and I saw him comment in my stream like, "Oh yeah, it's the game's fault, Andy, not yours, right?" Or I was playing Overwatch, and I ignored
Oh,
that
yeah.
comment. Right, ignored it.
Yeah.
And then later on it was something like, Andy, what a great job. And I was like, oh, thank you very much for that very nice comment.
That's how you got to do it.
And the other one, just ignored it.
But seriously, Ignacio, if you subbed right when they start, remember you're on a little bit of delay. But yeah, the session started. They already started reading before it came in. So unless you go back up and refresh the page, you don't always see it. But they read it on the next shows. So.
Hey, Joey, do we got any word on if there will be a video game book club episode this month?
Wow,
She
Nick.
said there will, but she doesn't know details because Greg sucks at his job.
Okay.
Wow.
Ha!
It
Just
was
kidding.
that you couldn't
I
hear.
said that's a Greg thing. I
She
don't
didn't
normally
say
know
that.
anything about that.
I lied to you
or
guys. Sorry.
The comic book club.
Here's what
Those
happened.
are things that I kind of lose track of.
This is something that actually happened. I was playing Everybody's Golf. Nick is trying to post an Instagram story.
Yeah.
Or an Instagram video and says, how do you spell everybody?
He
And
asked you that?
I said every and body. So he spells everybody's golf like every and then plural bodies instead of the possessive bodies.
Oh, no.
He wrote every space bodies.
No, like
plural.
hashtag EVERIRY, my bad. BOD.
Oh, everybody's golf.
Yeah, yeah.
Everybody's.
Like bodies plural, as if everybody's
do you
isn't-
think he did that to mess with you?
No, God,
you
no.
think he was just that confused?
He asked, yeah.
That's kind of alarming that he wouldn't know some basic like.
How do you see someone's story from their profile?
Oh, it wasn't a story. It was
Profile
the
picture.
it was the
that
photo.
one.
Oh, he just made it a video.
Yeah, he just made it a video post.
It's pretty good. Yeah, it never works. Yeah, I was in the kitchen. I had nowhere to go. You started playing Everybody's Golf. Yeah. I was on Quest. That was the beauty of Quest.
I mean, look,
it was easy to move.
PSVR. Trust me, I would have gone somewhere else if I could. Imagine if it was, if that
no
shit was
choice.
wireless, it'd be so
Oh my
great.
God.
Because that cord hanging off the back when you're swinging, when you're hitting the links.
Hitting the links.
What a
Yeah,
weird.
And
We're
then
gonna talk about it on
Andy
the show.
playing the PSVR. It was good. It was a good video,
We'll
Nick.
talk about
Good
it on
job.
the show. It's good. Everybody is golf. Yeah, it would have been awesome if he wrote that. Everybody is golf.
Shane says, Andrew, I'm taking a trip to Broadway next week. Any recommendations in the city? You mean Broadway, New York?
Broadway.
I'm not from New York, so I'm not probably the person to ask.
Unless they mean like our scene here in SF, but you don't really call it Broadway here.
What?
So.
No.
No.
What are
There is
some-
a Broadway street,
Go to
but
the
it's like
Nintendo
in.
store in New York. That's
No,
all I
I
know.
just
Yeah.
meant maybe they're seeing shows in SF, but like we don't say Broadway really.
Yeah, I don't know. Be more specific. Maybe I can help you, but if you're referring to like Manhattan in New York, I can't help you. I'm sure our best friend from New York, from KF New York. What's the name of the Kind of Funny group? Is it Kind of Funny NYC? What is it?
Yeah. Kind of funny NYC, yeah.
I'm sure they have tons of recommendations.
Yeah, we went to, gosh, I can't remember. It's where Joey bought Pokemon Snap. It's called like A&L or A&J or J&A. I forget. It's like 2 letters. A&L.
A&L.
J&L.
Joey.
I don't know.
J&L?
It's like a GameStop
J is in
almost.
Joey or A is in Andrea?
But they have a lot of
J is in Joey.
J&L.
J&L.
They have a lot of like retro consoles. They have a lot of so many things I wanted to buy. I just wanted to buy like old Game Boy Advances, like Game Boy SPs and stuff. I love the look of them, the different
I have a
colorways that they
Famicom
have.
one.
Really?
It's really nice. It's like gold and red.
Oh, that's
it's
badass.
awesome. Yeah.
Is there a run of show for Gamescast?
It's in a
Tim
box
gave me
somewhere. I have a
the
bunch of the
lightest of
minis
light
as well,
outlines.
The mini carts.
Can you share that with me?
Yes, it's like really embarrassingly light, but I will share it with you.
It's okay.
Yeah, it's all good.
I really didn't write much in there, and I didn't
We're
pick like a
counting on you,
feature
Andy.
topic for this week. Was I supposed to do that?
I keep getting calls
You would-
from.
Tim just kind of sprung this on me and was like, "Can you host the Gamescast?" And I was like, sure."
Did he give you
I mean, we have time to.
Yes, I got the Patreon producers.
Okay.
I keep.
one thing? I forgot.
Do you have the ad?
I'm happy to
No,
help.
he said that he pre-recorded them with
You're
you.
right. You're right. We got that.
He just said to say, and this episode is brought to you by like in the middle of the
Yeah,
episode.
and I'll take it time.
Do we need to
You know
come
how
up
you
with
get
any big
spam
topics?
calls
I mean,
from,
what do you
like,
think?
Area code.
I don't know. What do
Should
you
we
guys
brainstorm
think?
now?
Fucking bullshit.
Pre-show chat.
What?
Should we do like a feature topic, or is our hands-on going to be enough for the episode?
I don't think our hands-on is going to be enough. I think we need a backup, personally.
Okay, a
Now that
backup.
I don't know exactly what you're talking about. All I heard was Everybody's Golf from you. You talking about
Dauntless.
that? Oh, and Dauntless. It's pretty good. You previewed Dauntless, but you didn't get to play it.
No, I got to play it.
Oh, you did?
But
Okay.
I haven't played the final build that's
Got it.
launched.
Yeah, the most
I
recent
played a
release.
preview build, but it was close to final. But yeah, I've played it. But I talked about it on Gamescast last week.
Yeah.
I broke embargo on it. Did you hear about this?
I did hear about
I didn't
this.
want to bring it up. Yeah.
Missed this.
Cameron Kennedy posted a comment right here. It says, I hope this is an E3 predictions episode, and he's about to tell us everything coming out.
Oh, that's what that meant. He started streaming
We'll
Dauntless.
talk about it. We'll talk it on the Gamescast.
Yeah.
Yeah. Michael, that's a great question. I would love to answer it, but we discussed it in detail on our Patreon exclusive secret segment for the month of May. So you can either wait 30 days and watch the video on youtube.com/what'sgoodgames in June, or you can go to patreon.com/what'sgoodgames and become a member. Every membership level gets the secret segment, so you can get in at the lowest level, which is $2 if you're interested. I'm sorry, I know that sounds like a cop-out, but it wouldn't really be fair if I answered that question when we have a exclusive video about it.
That's fair.
Don't you boo
her.
me? You guys have way more exclusive stuff than I do.
Don't boo her.
We do one exclusive video a month. You guys do like 5 every week.
Yeah, we do 4 episodes of KFAF a week, but only one of them goes live. The 3 of them go to our $8,000 patrons.
Sorry, I know, Mike. That's a shitty answer, but I'll talk about it later once that exclusivity period's over. But it was fun. It's a good idea. Once I win the lottery, I'm going to pay someone to make that game.
Mike understands. He says
What's up,
fair.
Yasmin? That Fran
We
page
did a
Photoshop was
topic
good.
on which
That
book
was pretty
series
solid.
we would like to see made into video games.
Yeah, what was the game?
I picked the Mistborn series.
Oh.
Mistborn.
You familiar,
wrote that?
Kevin?
No, but like, isn't Myst already a video game?
Well, different.
I don't think you
Property.
understand
You're
anything
saying
about what I
books.
said.
So wait, who's the author?
Brandon Sanderson.
Which, anything else famous?
Oh yeah, so he famously
Oh, this is that
paired
Ryan
with
Sandberg?
Robert Jordan to finish the Wheel of Time
That's-
fantasy series, but he also is probably most well known for the Stormlight Archives, The Name of the Wind. No, sorry, that's Patrick Rothfuss. The Way of Kings is the first book in the Stormlight
You could have
Archives.
lied and I would have
Yeah.
believed you.
Oh no!
Totally
Someone
is.
in chat would have. I mix up the King Killer Chronicles and Stormlight Archives on a semi-consistent basis because I interweave my readings of those franchises. But I'm excited to start his Dark Materials series because
Yeah.
the promo on HBO got me all
It looks
excited,
good.
and Steimer talked to me about it. It was like it's real good.
How long are these said books?
So the new one,
many
his dark,
words are we
his
looking
dark
per page?
material is technically young adult, kind of like the Hunger Games.
Okay.
So those are relatively short, but the one that I referenced, Stormlight Archives, those average between 700 and 1,000 pages.
Fuck! Wow. Holy
Per
shit.
book.
I was
Read
like,
them live on stream.
I was gonna make a joke and say that like, are we talking like 2 or 3? But wow, 7 to 1,000.
Yeah.
Good lord.
Yeah,
Andy,
they're good.
When's the last
Happy
time you read
birthday,
a book?
PSV.
When's the last time I read a book? It's a good question, Kevin. It's a great question.
You and me both, Andy. Because any free time I have is going
What
to
do you
gaming
want me to
or
ask her,
streaming, and it's
Ignacio?
like-
Can you be specific? Mr. Yasman, I would love them to do like a full remake of the Dune RTS game. I loved playing that on PC when I was in middle school and a little bit younger. Dune is one of my favorite sci-fi fantasy series. Really love the cheesy 90s movie as well. And they've clearly, referenced the Dune franchise in several video games over the years, but the RTS was always my favorite because I thought that genre really fit that franchise. Just like I think RTS fits Game of Thrones the best as well, because I think trying to recreate those characters like in an RPG or action setting just doesn't make sense because there's not enough combat opportunities. So either a narrative adventure like what Telltale did, or RTS, which is what the new browser-based game is. And I would really love to get into that new Game of Thrones browser game, but it's a browser game, and whenever I'm on my computer, I'm working. And when I'm playing games, I'm not on my
Separate work
computer.
from games.
Yeah.
Kevin, do we have a Patreon page? I mean, obviously we do, where users can submit questions. Because I know that's happened before in the past where, hey, we have a light day, what should we talk about? And we
That
just,
seems like a Joey question.
should we just put
Why
out a
don't they
tweet?
just... Yeah, I was going to say, don't they all know how to submit to the Games Daily one? And you could just use that.
It's possible.
I mean,
It's possible.
I think we should just ask Joey.
because I'll know not to read those tomorrow. Or whatever, I'll read them
Joey,
again.
you listening, Joey?
Definitely not.
Sorry, I was talking shit about
I mean,
She's
there's no
definitely not
shortage
listening.
of things,
Yeah, I can hear her
shortage of
talking to
things to talk
someone.
about. But if we needed a stronger headline for the show, that's always one of the questions. Like, what's the show headline? Is it going to be Everybody's Golf?
Joey-
Is Dauntless worth
VR?
playing?
Is it Dauntless?
I just said it with the lith.
Dauntless. It's Dauntless.
I think Joe's listening to us.
Wow,
It's like a
set looks
Spanish
really
version
good
as
right
well.
now with all the blue.
Ibiza.
Oh, the set does look great, Kevin.
Yeah.
What is this behind us? Never mind.
I like that one with the like.
This is
it was
actually
like the
kinda cool.
explosion right behind my head. It was nice.
Andrew, you can start the show whenever you want.
Okay, I'm just organizing these really quick.
Okay.
I'm just gonna put it out on Twitter. What should we talk about on Gamescast?
Tim is gonna be like, what? Hey, I didn't.
Now,
I
yeah,
didn't
now
have
he'll
to-
be like, "Why does Andrea suck at her job?"
What? No.
I'm ready to talk about all the games I've been playing. It's always, you know, the reason we do topics is because not just to fill time, but sometimes it's like makes it a stronger headline or topic for the central theme versus just talking about everything we've been playing and
Right.
biggest, you know, what I find interesting on the show, we don't talk as much about like a topic. It's always like rooted around playing games or predictions, but in other words, like if there's a big theme like matchmaking in Division 2 or we do kind of, but it's not as common. I noticed. I would change things, but you know, it's not my show.
Okay, 1 second, Kevin.
As you fucking confidently slurp on that
Do you
LaCroix.
like that? Do you like the ASMR right there? I totally knew I was
That
doing
was
it
your
too.
version of a mic
I mean,
drop.
it's not my show.
Yeah.
Slurp.
All right, that one was bad. That was just a gross.
You should just
gross
burp to
operation.
really annoy Kevin.
Bah. I love a good ASMR.
I frequent ASMR quite often.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Okay.
don't really.
It's funny, like I'll accidentally click on one
Yeah.
and I'll hear it just do
I know we
speakers
gotta
and I
start.
get sleepy.
Let's get started, shall we?
Give me that sweet
Have you seen
intro,
the
dude.
dog one that eats all
All right,
the
here we
carrots
go.
and stuff?
Shh, Fran, shut up.
What's good, everybody, and welcome to the first ever episode 223 of the Kind of Funny Gamescast, where 3, sometimes 4 best friends gather around
Fucking shit.
table. You know what? I was so nervous
So
I was going to screw
disappointing.
this up that, of course, I screwed it up. I'm
love it.
Andrea Renee, joined by the best hair in the business, Mr. Fran
Andy
Mirabella.
Thank you, Andrea. Oh yeah. I got
Honestly, it's
competition
kind
today.
of a 3-way tie for best hair at this
had
table right here.
I just had a rough night. You can't tell with the hair because it always looks messy. But yeah.
And the best video game journalist in the business, Andy Cortez, is here.
What's up, guys? All the scoops, whatever you need to know, let me know.
I just
Hot
realized,
scoops and breaking embargoes.
I just realized that we do shows together sometimes, and we're Frandria. But
Yes.
if we ever do it, we're Frandy. Now we've got options.
Fran.
I know all 3 I tried. He's
Frangie
ready.
Andy.
Maybe.
Nah.
Well, I'm cool, Andy. Don't forget.
Oh, that's right.
What are you?
I don't know.
He's just
actually.
Andy.
Yeah, I'm just Andy.
Just Andy.
Just Andy.
Just Andy.
Nitro Rifle is what people call me.
Welcome, everybody, to the Kind of Funny Gamescast. This is where we talk about video games that we've been playing, and sometimes we discuss deep and meaningful topics around video game culture as well. We want to give a big shout out to our Patreon supporters at the silver membership or above. You guys are watching the show live right now as we're recording it, and you get the show 3 days early with those exclusive pre and post shows. If that sounds like a fun time to you, head on over to patreon.com/kindoffunnygames. And another big thank you and shout out to this month's Patreon producers, James Hastings and Mohammed. Of course, if you aren't part of our fantastic Patreon community, you can still watch us Mondays at youtube.com/kindoffunnygames and on roosterteeth.com. Plus, you can also search the Kind of Funny Gamescast on your favorite podcast service. Hit that follow or subscribe button, and then you'll get to listen to us all the time, wherever you are, at work,
Wow, it's
At the gym.
It's like you've hosted before.
while you're
Andrea.
driving.
You're pretty good at this.
Oh,
Pretty
thanks,
good at
Andy.
this.
I appreciate that.
Hastings, by the way. You ever go to Hastings?
Is that
Back
in
in the day?
Minnesota?
Hastings, it's like a store. It was a store back in the day. Very similar to like a Sam Goody.
Oh.
I don't know if it was like maybe only a Texas only thing. I
Could
would
have been. Well,
Really?
There's stuff like that. I forget. I lived in Cincinnati for a while. There was a store I'm forgetting, but it was only around that area.
Got it.
It happened.
Yeah,
It seems like everybody would have
Hastings was like bookstores, like slash CDs, slash video
it. Maybe
games.
it's part of the family like inheritance.
I just
Possible.
Googled Hastings store. Yeah,
bet
it
you
looks
sent-
like it. I mean, it looks like an entertainment store that sells books, movies, music, and
yeah.
video games.
Yeah, and they had I think they had snacks there, but then they shut down back with the whole recession and stuff. Really sad
sounds
stuff.
right.
Real
Was
sad
this
stuff.
all just because his name is James Hastings?
Yeah, it just reminded me of
Okay.
Hastings because I'd go there and like I don't know, it wasn't my favorite place to look for games or
Right.
CDs or whatever because I preferred Walmart. I don't know why. Walmart was like my destination for when I want Lego.
Probably because
So-
you could pick up toilet paper and Legos at the same time.
That's true, yeah. But
Do you
also,
usually need those
man.
two things.
also I was like
together when you-
11, so I wasn't
Sometimes.
super
Are you
into buying
eating the
toilet paper.
Legos?
Wasn't super into buying toilet paper. What are we talking about?
We are talking about video
Stores.
games. And this week, because Greg and Tim are both out, we've got the Motley Crew for you here, and we hope that you guys enjoy the show. Anyway, of course, they were in Florida at the Full Sail University Hall of Fame week, and a bunch of you, from the looks of Greg and Tim's photos on Instagram and Twitter, showed up to say hello to them at the meet and greet, so that's cool.
Orlando out partying.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be there.
Winter Park, Florida, I believe was the exact name of the city. Is that correct?
Oh, it's in Winter Park.
I thought about
outside.
going to
It
Full
is, but-
Sail back when I was like
Yeah.
looking for art schools to go to.
It's good.
And I was like, there's no way I could ever do this. Like,
Why?
Just it was.
Oh, it's
I
really
ended up going to the Art Institute anyway, but
Mm-hmm.
Full Sail was like the destination for when I was in high school looking for avenues to spread my creativity. Right,
Yep.
Kevin?
Yep.
Looks like they partied though.
Thanks, Kevin.
They had a lot of partying happening. Yeah, very jealous.
They're having fun out there.
Very
I'm gonna be
jealous.
out there in Orlando for Guardian Con.
Very nice.
Oh,
July
wow.
4th, but that's a few months away now, or less than.
Shout
It's
out
like
to Omni
5
Waffle.
weeks away? 6 weeks? 5
it's
weeks?
coming up fast.
That's really cool.
So Guardian Con started off as only like a Destiny thing, right? And it's kind of branched out into.
Started off at they
It's
were
like the
meeting at a
Looter Shooter
restaurant
Con
bar.
now.
Yeah.
They were gonna meet at a restaurant bar or something, and a ton of people came down. That was the first one that I missed.
So it's like a kind of funny
Then it
meetup.
evolved.
Yeah.
Exactly. Then it like blew up, and now it's become bigger. It had Fortnite last year. Borderlands is going to be there this year, and a bunch of stuff. There's even more announcements. But above all, it's a charity-driven event.
Oh, gotcha.
They raise
So
money for St. Jude's, yeah.
They do
Wow.
millions and millions every year. It's been getting bigger and bigger. So pretty exciting.
Yeah.
What's like the average sort of draw there?
The reason to go?
Like
No, 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 no.
thousands of
No,
people
like, yeah,
wise?
amount of
How
people,
many?
yeah.
I think it was usually it had been, I think, around 2,000 to 5,000 total across the days. Now I don't know if it's going to break those numbers, but it's somewhere
Gotcha.
in there. It's not like massive.
I do feel like it has been growing and it's becoming more of a just a thing that normal gamers talk about, because I know it started off as a small con back in the day, and I feel like kind of it's not like a household name.
Yeah, it was
but
Destiny
it's getting
Con the
there.
first year.
Yeah,
That's what happened. And then,
Oh,
of course, they
gotcha.
said, well, hey, if you could not use that name. And they went with Guardian Con. But it's actually one of the best community events I've been to. It's just mostly hanging out and meeting people. It's driven around that versus playing games and all that stuff. Although that's becoming more of a thing. And tournaments has become more of a thing, too. Like watching everything. They had Fortnite last year. They had, I think they had PUBG and they had Destiny. And so there's like a big arena or seating gathering that you can watch.
okay,
stuff in.
gotcha.
So
Interesting.
anyway, coming up.
Sounds groovy. Andy,
What's up?
let's start with you. We've all been playing a little bit of VR this week, but if you guys caught Nick's Instagram post from last week, you may have seen Andy playing some Everybody's Golf on PSVR.
Game not provided by PlayStation. I bought it.
Good for
Jody was
you.
kind of shocked. I was,
That you bought a game?
well, because you normally request a game from Greg Miller,
Yeah.
Yeah.
but he's off in Florida vacationing. He's in the Key West, Florida Keys, on his yacht, doing all this sort of fun
His
stuff.
leisure boat.
And so I was like, I don't really want to ask him because I want to play this before tomorrow's Gamescast, right? So I just bought the damn thing, $30. And I'm a golf fan, just an actual golf fan, not just golf games. And Everybody's Golf kind of swept the Kind of Funny studios, right? Like all of us were playing it. We were all super into it. We played it several times on stream. And back in the day, I was a huge fan of like Tiger Woods on Wii and shit like that. The Wii Motion Plus back when I was dominating Longhorn Landing in Austin, Texas. It's an
The
apartment
Motion Plus,
complex.
that connected on the bottom.
Yeah, you
right?
had the Motion Plus. It added like that
Right.
extra dimension or whatever. And
third heat.
I've always been a fan of golf games. And so I loved Everybody's
Same.
Golf. VR just seems like, holy shit, this could be really, really neat.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, I'm just saying, I can't wait to hear what you have to say about it because I didn't know this about you. I'm a golf fan too.
Yeah.
I stopped playing many years ago, but I used to go out around here and loved it. I
I
reviewed
play like once a year, maybe.
Yeah, I used to play like, whatever, once a month
Mm-hmm.
at least, but it's been many years. I would be awful. But regardless, I love it. It's so much fun. I reviewed a ton of the Tiger Woods games on GameCube, and I used to play Lynx. I think it was called Lynx on Windows and all that. Golf games, in video games, they've always been a great demonstration of like the technological prowess of the hardware. And so anyway, I've always been super into them.
The coolest
Whether
thing was
arcadey or simulation.
Right.
Yeah.
The coolest thing was on, I believe, the Xbox 360 version back in the day of Tiger Woods, where it was one of the first game face where you took a
Yes.
photo of your face and you uploaded it to their site or whatever. And that one is like still the best one that I've seen to this day because I feel like it hasn't gotten any better since then. I don't know why. It was weird.
The feeling of that one. I
Yeah.
forget if that was the one where you could add the top spin yet. Was it more realistic? Remember when you
It
could
was
like
just 360. Yeah.
Okay,
Anyway.
but they all became cross-platform. Like it was,
Yeah.
you know, it was on everything else. But it's funny. I probably reviewed whatever one you're talking about.
Yeah, so,
right.
so Everybody's Golf VR, it feels like it's a very, like, it's almost like diet to Everybody's Golf. Like, it's the VR component that you're kind of used to where, you know, games come out and then you kind of get the VR version and it doesn't
It's not like
feel
the
fully
whole game.
featured. There's no walking around kind of your home grounds or whatever. It's just you pick your course. I believe there's 3 courses, but the way they sort of implement progression is that you can only start off hitting 3 holes at a time. So it's like you do 3 and then you're done, and you do 3 again, and eventually if you do that enough, you'll become level 2, and then you unlock 9 holes or whatever. And it's a kind of interesting way for them to kind of put more hours into the game instead of just giving you 18 holes from the start.
Yeah.
I think it controls really well. I enjoy the way it controls. It's super immersive. It was really funny yesterday because we had the windows open because it was kind of hot back there, and I'm like on the ground looking at how the green moves. And like I'm seeing the wind blow, and I'm feeling the breeze hit me from the open window, and I was like, Joey, this is so realistic right now, dude. This is awesome. I think it's great. But I think I would have bought it regardless, just because I love golf games anyway. But in VR, it really is kind of an added treat to where you, the swinging feels natural. Well, in a way, you don't ever want to go like a full golf swing. You kind of just. It's kind of like I remember on Tiger Woods golf back in the day with the Wiimote, you didn't have to do a full screen. You could just go like with your wrist, and it would the speed and everything would kind of
that's the way I played
simulate
Wii
that.
golf. One of my favorite golf games of all time.
yeah.
The simplest of golf games,
just
but
use
I
your
mean
wrist.
that's what you do. You
It's just a
cheesed
flick
it.
of the wrist, yeah. But this, you know, I like getting into it. I like feeling like I'm standing there or whatever. But don't expect like an actual golf swing to work here. I do think
Right.
that
This is not like a Rory McIlroy game.
No. What's up?
No, I was just like agreeing in general. The swing is one of the problems I had. I'll wait until you're done.
Yeah, I still think it works pretty fine. It could have been camera placement. I was having camera placement issues.
And the room was bright because the
Yeah.
windows are shining, which can cause an issue.
Yeah, it's hard for the VR unit to catch that little,
Yeah, we
glowing
should have
ball or
drawn the
whatever.
shades actually.
But I'm definitely enjoying it. Again, I think we just unlocked the second course, and I just unlocked the second caddy, Lucy. Still does kind of like the little kind of silly things where, you know, the very attractive caddy is kind of talking with you. And here's the weirdest thing.
flirting
They're very
with you.
busty, mini-skirted,
very
Japanese
busty, adorable
style
woman.
You know, they're both Japanese.
You
There's
missed the
Caucasians,
best.
it's-
You
okay.
haven't even experienced the best part yet in
No,
this
I've
fucking
barely
game.
played that
Oh my
much.
god, I can't believe this is even a feature.
Okay.
So, you know the cat.
God.
And it's not
already-
it's not stylized from the standard Everybody's Golf, because Everybody's Golf, the one that came out last year, I believe. The characters were a lot
Oh, yeah,
more
that's right. They're more
cartoony, big heads,
caricature-ish, right?
tiny bodies.
That's right.
Like
they look-
Mies.
These are real
They're
caddies.
a lot more similar to Mies. This one is still not fully realistic, but the women have like bigger eyes, and they look like anime characters
They
almost.
have a lot more big features
Yes, yeah.
than you would expect.
Yeah, but they're
Japan.
They are human
Japan.
proportioned, right? You know, they're not like these weird kind of scary stylized creatures, which I think works.
Scaricatures.
Because I mean, even any that's
You're
perfect.
fired.
I just came up. I
That's
love
perfect. Yeah. Anytime any one of these caddies would like walk up to me, like they walk up to you and then they bow,
Okay.
and like I would get scared just because I'm just like, oh, like VR
because
is
they're
kind of
in your
freaky.
fa-
Yeah,
yeah.
They're right up in there, and
They're in the room with you. That's the thing you got to remember with the game.
Yeah.
It's not like playing on the TV. They're right there.
Like
they might walk up to you.
yeah, like when you go golf, you walk up to the front desk, right? And you
Yeah.
like reserve your thing, and there's a woman right there, and you see the menus, and they're like, "What do you want to pick? What course do you want?"
It's
Do you-
literally like that's what it was like when I logged in. Andrea, if she was the person at the front desk, it was like this, and the menu was there, and I actually had to like,
Yeah,
I had to back
it's
off.
kind of freaky, yeah.
Sorry, my audio's all over. the place.
And so you end up, you pick, whether you want 3. The more you progress, I think we're at like level 8 now or whatever. But the weirdest thing happened yesterday where I'm enjoying the game, having a fun time. And then my caddy, I think her name was like Riku, or I forgot her name. Rico, I forgot her name. Anyway, in the middle of a match, in the middle of me like doing a little 3-hole course or whatever,
she said something to you.
she goes, "Do you wanna come with me to enjoy the sights of the course?"
What?
And the game stops. You stop golfing.
Oh, you said yes, of course.
Of course. I mean,
Yeah.
she's cute, right? I'm single now, guys. Come on. And suddenly you are on like a balcony overlooking one of the vistas, and this is the view. Like, pretend you're the player. The view is like her like this, right?
So Andy has now turned around and
Yeah.
put his butt to the camera.
And she's just like looking, and she's like, and she turns around, she's like, "It's beautiful, isn't it?" And she's like, looks at you, and you're just kind of like,
You're
like
standing
she's looking
behind
over
her,
her shoulder very
leaning over the
coyly.
balcony.
you're just enjoying this moment on this balcony, and you just stay there, and you can move on.
In everybody's golf?
In everybody's golf, I could not believe what I was seeing. It was so bizarre.
Oh my
I
gosh.
do believe it because it's Japan. I mean, I hate to say that,
but
but
I
it's
just,
still
I mean,
true.
but I expect the caddies to just be, attractive because that's a very Japan thing. But like
Yeah.
the fact that like we went on this date. And
So-
like,
so
fuck,
just-
I didn't
So
ask.
do you
I
have
didn't
to,
even
do
try
you
to
have
kiss her.
tip
You know?
her? What's the tipping
I don't
situation?
know. I have no
Awkward.
idea.
Just a tip.
It was so bizarre,
Andy, I had
dude.
a question.
Yeah, it was a 3-hole course. It became a 4-hole course. You know what I'm saying, Fran?
I got it, and
Yeah.
I'm going to make it worse. So,
I'm gonna make it worse.
yeah, I'm just curious, whether you want to spend, say, 2 minutes there with her or 20.
I think you can spend it a lifetime. I felt like
No
it
more
was a
golfing.
lifetime.
It's just you.
So you can stay
the
there
caddy.
and watch her for as long as you need
Yeah.
in that moment.
As long as you need, yeah.
Okay.
And you can get up right up closer. Dude. It's very.
Wow.
I couldn't believe
I'm
it.
not sure what to make of that.
You need to experience it to believe it.
All right.
Because I even now I feel like I'm lying, but
Yeah,
I'm not.
no, I believe it, but in the very little amount I played, like I was having trouble like figuring out the swing, and it was taking me a while. And they started talking to me. Like it was very like chitter chatter, but I could
very-
tell
very cute
they're-
British
It's a little,
accents.
like little developing a minor relationship with you. So
yeah.
now I could see there's a little bit of that going
It's.
on.
I just didn't expect that sort of thing to happen.
And
yeah.
so that's right. When you log in the game, can you choose a gender? And like, there's no reverse scenario, is there? Like,
no. There are no. I don't believe there are
like
male
if Andrea
caddies.
wants to get like a hot guy caddy, like
I don't
is that
think so. No.
What bullshit?
Yeah.
seems like
I
a
would be
one-way
okay
street.
with it if I could like get
Yeah.
some koi
I don't
over
know
the
for
shoulder.
sure. I don't know for
from,
sure
you
because
know.
I believe there are 4 caddies. I've unlocked 2 of them. I just unlocked Lucy. She's a little bit taller, right? A little bit more intimidating to me as a human being, but still like very cute, right? But I unlocked a 3rd color option for Riku. I forgot her name. And we're just developing this bond. And at this point, it's like, who's going to be my favorite? You know what I mean?
I'm only laughing because you're
Yeah.
clearly getting attached to these characters and you're single and like you're in
Yeah.
a VR world,
Yeah.
like just getting like in relationships
Yeah.
with these caddies.
It's really fun. So
And that's the
it
new
reminds
world
me of
for
like
you.
a Black Mirror episode, honestly.
Oh, well
but
then.
again, the game is fun. I aside from all the other cool, really like horny stuff, the game's great. I like it does this really cool thing where kind of like in normal golf games, you can look at the higher bird's eye view.
Yes.
Right? And so that feels really neat because you're
looking at yourself.
yeah, it's really cool.
You're like God's eyes from above,
Yeah.
looking down at you on the.
I feel like I'm
right?
Attack on Titan or something like
Yeah,
that.
exactly. Or you're in like a Titan.
Yeah, so like you get you go up into the sky and you see and you get to choose where you want it to go or whatever. I definitely enjoy the gameplay. I got several I tweeted out yesterday that I was playing and I got several replies of like, how does it feel? Does it feel gimmicky? It doesn't. It doesn't really feel arcadey or anything like that.
Okay.
You can still do the thing in everybody's golf where you choose the cup to be like a tornado cup. So like if you don't hit it well, there's a tornado in the cup that kind of sucks the ball in or whatever. To
Oh, that
like
sounds
make it
great.
easy.
Like cheats.
It's like bumper bowling kind of. Yeah.
Okay, I'm into that.
But I just play. I play standard because I'm a decent golfer. I'm not horrible, but I'm still pretty bad in real
Yeah.
life IRL.
I'm trying to look up a video and see if I can see
The
like,
date.
The caddies?
the date with the caddy.
Yeah, yeah.
So far, I just see the busty caddy. I don't see the
Yeah.
date with the caddy.
And they have a British and they're just super sweet and like, oh, line up the putt now. It's
Yeah.
like, oh, you're so adorable. It's good stuff.
Have you played any other golf VR games before this? I haven't. Because there's some, I guess, there's Rift and Oculus.
I haven't, no.
Or Vive, I mean, maybe, but I haven't had the chance. So this was my first experience in golf VR, which is, going back to the technology aspect, it really is. I can't wait for them to perfect this.
Yeah.
Like, it has a ton of potential.
I mean, I think even right now at this early stage, it feels great. And even like, there's the cool thing that I do, like when I'm actually golfing, where like, I'm about to like, I'm preparing the putt, and then I'll like get down on a knee and like look at how the green is lying, and it tells you anyway, but it feels cool to like see it from that perspective. And I think it's awesome. I think they did such a great job with it. Again, it does feel kind of like feature incomplete. Like there's no real story except for the relationship you're building with these women. But there's no like creative player. There's no progressing through. One of the things I loved about playing, I believe, Mario Golf on like I think it was like Game Boy Color, was that like you're the new golfer on the block and you got to like, it was kind of like Pokemon meets golf, where you go to this course and this golf leader's like, hey kid, like I heard your challenge for me, and not today, and then you play him and it's like it's awesome. Here there's none of that. It's super stripped down, but I think that could also
you just go in and start golfing.
That could just be more approachable for somebody that wants a more simplified game. It's like when I played NBA on Switch, NBA 2K on Switch, where the Switch has none of the story stuff, and I was so happy because I've just had it with the story modes on NBA 2K, like playing on PS4 and stuff. So on Switch, it's just all games. Here, it's just, you just go golf, you pick the course, you pick
the caddies,
the wind mile per hour, you pick whether you want the courses to be mirrored or not.
Yeah.
And then you pick your caddy,
Yeah. So exactly, not a ton of options. Fall in love. And then history was made.
Well, this is riveting. Riveting.
Yeah, so
so no men, so far, as far as I've seen, no male caddies. I'm sorry.
I wouldn't kick a female caddy out of bed, all right?
Yeah.
So that's fine by
mean,
me.
you saw him.
But still.
You should give...
In all fairness.
Lucy was a looker.
Give dual gender options or even multi-gender options. It's not a bad thing. Shall we move on to the next thing?
If I can, real fast. I know it only have so much time, but do you know if you can play with the controller using button taps?
You can't. No, button taps. I don't think so. I think you could just use the DualShock as like
you have to keep swinging. I was hoping you could play with just buttons, because what I was going to say is I really like the immersiveness of it. Yeah, I'm not like all these games. Like, it's so immersive, the swing's not going to feel real.
Yeah.
And you're going to slice it when you don't want. And I like it that it's there, and it's a ton of fun. I could see playing it with friends and passing the headset around. No
multiplayer. That's the problem.
Oh, there's no
multiplayer. You can't play online against anybody.
So you'd have to create your own multiplayer.
Let's be honest. How many people are going to be in the queue to play online multiplayer in a PSVR game? Ask Firewall how that went.
I don't know.
Sure, yeah.
Right?
I actually think it could be fun in the same house, as long as you could watch the person play and then change the headset.
That seems like a pain in the ass.
Yeah, because you would have to recalibrate it every time you take the headset off.
I would have to constantly have my Neutrogena oily wipes, and like I get a very oily face. You know what I mean?
Gotcha.
Yeah.
But anyway, I did dig it as well. It seems a little feature incomplete, but that's too bad that you always have to swing. I would enjoy it more if I could actually just button tap it.
I can't even confirm that.
Because the immersiveness is cool.
Because I know you can use a DualShock. I don't know if it requires you to swing the DualShock or actually button tap.
I saw that it let you choose the controllers, and I didn't try the other option, but I dug it too. It was neat. Except
it's cool. It makes me want a PSVR, honestly, because I enjoy standing there and getting some activity instead of just sitting down on my ass.
Yeah, it's still like graphically, there's such a long way to go, but it still looks pretty decent. It's funny, like it looks like an Xbox 360 game to me still.
Play with the window
VR
open.
games do though.
They just do.
Just because of the way that they are designed. But okay, I'm putting a pin in this.
Good. Fine.
Let's move on to Dauntless. So, Andy, this is the other game that you have been playing. I talked about Dauntless last week on the show. Of course, it launched this week, and they announced right before the launch, it's the first console game to launch with true crossplay between Xbox One, PS4, and PC for Epic Game Store, which is fantastic. It's in fact the third game to have crossplay between PS4, Xbox, and PC. Joining
it's a new frontier.
Fortnite and Rocket League. But this is pretty cool. So what do you think of Dauntless so far, Andy?
I think it's really, as somebody who enjoyed Monster Hunter, I feel like it's more user friendly in a way.
Yes, agreed.
The hub world it reminds me a lot of
Ramsgate.
It reminds me a lot of playing World of Warcraft back in the day, like going up to NPCs and well met traveler, and then they have like their own dialogue box that you want to read, or you just don't read like most people in games like that. you accept quests. The quests are pretty straightforward. I do feel like a lot of the worlds that you travel to just have kind of like palette swaps. Like I know they're different worlds where you want to go take down a...
Well, it's all part of the same Shattered Isle.
Yeah, but you want to go take down like a frost behemoth. Mm-hmm. And the frost behemoth's world kind of just looks like a white version of the fire behemoth's world. Like there's
Sounds
not
like
a
the world design is a little.
There's not a whole lot of
samey, huh?
variation, like except for the fact that like it's all different colors and like
Thematic,
the grass is
yeah.
green here, but this one it's kind of volcanic. But this one, it's what they still feel very samey to me. And it could just be because the world is laid out in a certain way where it's obviously very open. It kind of has to be very open.
I see what you're saying.
In order to have these
Yeah.
big arenas. I do think that they did a great job with a lot of the behemoth animations. It's really fun and super creative. My problem with it so far is I think that like I'm too early in right now they did such a great job, I think, with a lot of the attack variations to where it's so hard for me to even know what attack is coming. You know, you get into a rhythm with like Souls games and not that I'm a Souls player, but like I played games where you know, oh, that attacks this, let me dodge this way because that always. It's gotten to the point where I'm so early on, and there are so many different behemoths that I fought that I'm dying kind of a lot because I don't know the variation and I don't know what animation that thing is and what animation is that attack going to do, you know?
And it's going to take some time to
That's a
get
good
comfortable
thing, though.
with your
For
weapon
sure.
combos and all of
for
the
sure.
items that you can bring into the hunts with you. Like for me, obviously the immediate comparison is Monster Hunter, since I wasn't really a God Eater player, and it took me probably a solid 15 to 20 hours before I felt competent, not even confident in Monster Hunter. So I would imagine that Dauntless probably has a similar learning curve.
Yeah, for sure. I think the move sets are really fun once you get the hang of, square, 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 and then you hold triangle. And I've been using sort of the Kratos blade weapons.
The
Chaos
chain blades.
blades.
Yeah, the chain blades, those are really, really fun and satisfying, and they look cool as hell.
Yeah.
I've never been a huge fan of, even when we played Monster Hunter World, I was never a huge fan of the big, heavier weapons.
Like the great swords and the hammers.
I never liked, once you get into an animation, you are stuck there, and hopefully you hit the guy, you know? I kind of never dug that whole thing, and it reminds me of back in Dragon Age, like Inquisition, playing dual wielding daggers. Like that's more my style. The sort of
Agreed.
speed styles more my thing. The paid stuff is kind of interesting. They do this thing where you unlock these things called cells, I believe, and the cells are kind of like the add-ons that you put on your armor.
They're like gems or augments. Yeah.
Yeah, and they will give you every time you get attacked, 15% of blah blah blah. That sort of shit.
They give you buffs?
Yeah, so there's a way to fuse cells to make them more powerful.
Yeah,
And
you take weaker cells and you merge them together, kind of like the gem system in Diablo, where you would get the lower level gems and then combine them together to get higher.
even in
buffs.
Division 2, like with some of the mods, like I know
Yeah.
you can like fuse mods and make
Yep.
whatever, it does stuff like that. But there's an interesting paid element to it, to where I can fuse two cells, but I have to wait 24 hours for them to fuse, or you can pay to have that process like
pay for
sped
the
up. I believe
time.
it's like immediate. I'm not sure if it's immediate or not, but it
Yeah,
does speed up that process.
That microtransaction is fairly common in free to play games, but I have never seen it in a game like Dauntless before.
Yeah.
It's traditionally just reserved for mobile titles.
But I also don't think we've ever really seen a free-to-play game like Dauntless before, have we?
Not that I'm aware of, and admittedly, I don't know enough about other big free-to-play games in the space, like Warframe, for example.
Right.
I don't know how they handle their microtransactions, so...
Yeah. So far, what I've seen, a lot of it is cosmetic. They're in season 5 right now, so the season 5 theme, they have their own battle pass. I think it's called like the Hunter Pass.
It is
I forgot
called
what
the
it's
Hunt Pass.
Hunt Pass. And it's very similar to where I guess the theme right now is sort of like
like a ninja
ninja
theme.
assassin, right? Like there's cherry blossoms everywhere. You can get upgraded armor when you look like a ninja. I believe last season was like kind of a Viking sort of theme or something like that. So they do have seasonal things to kind of bring you back in, sort of similar to what like a lot of other games do.
Fortnite.
Yeah,
what have you.
Overwatch and all that stuff. During the winter, everything will kind of be covered in snow. They do interesting things like that with the Homeworld, with Ramsgate or whatever. I think it's cool as hell as a free-to-play title. Like, I still haven't paid anything, and I think I'm maybe like 7 to 10 hours in, around that range. I'm having actually a lot of fun with it. Like the other night, I was streaming it, and then I stopped and I took a shower, and I was like, I kind of want to, like, you know, I really
Get
want
back
this.
out there.
I really want this new upgraded armor piece. You know, it's very similar to Monster Hunter, where you take down the frost behemoth, the whatever the hell it's called, and it has its
Get
own
something
armor
from
set.
it,
Yeah. And so, you know, you want the upgraded fire set so that when you go fight fire behemoths, you don't get damage as much because it's all like resistant to fire. But then you want the frost weapon to take down the fire thing. You know, it has that hook that's really fun. I think the combat's a lot more flashy than Monster Hunter. Like, I feel like
Really?
it's a lot more
the damage
cartoony and
numbers
stuff, yeah.
falling off of the enemies definitely makes it feel a little bit more like action RPG in
Yeah.
that sense. And the only real problem that I had with the combat, and admittedly I haven't played enough with it, was the missing reticule, or reticle?
Reticle, yeah.
That's the word. Is that I think sometimes I maybe use it as a bit of a crutch.
Sure.
And I perhaps just need to practice a little bit more. My weapon of choice is the repeaters because I like ranged
got it.
weapons.
Yeah.
I'm like you as well. I don't traditionally favor heavy weapons like the greatswords, axes, the hammers of those types of games. But so far I've been enjoying it. I just really love the customization that they offer because I think in a game like that's a live service game that you're going to be spending a ton of time with your character, especially in a third person game where you get to see your armor and your character model a lot.
Yeah.
Having such a diverse set of customization options.
The die system is really neat.
Is great, yeah.
I haven't really unlocked a whole lot as far as that goes because I know that a lot of that is tied to microtransactions, and I'm normally the type of player that, like, if I put 10 hours into a game, I'm like, all right, let me give you some money. Like, I've had fun with this free game, you know, let me reward you a little bit. So I might look into the whole dying system there. But I again, don't expect Monster Hunter World with a bunch of cutscenes or like there's not going to be.
It's very narrative light.
Yeah, it's very narrative light. Where the only real narrative there is like at the start of the game you have a cutscene, and then you talk to NPCs in the world that just stand there and say, you're back or whatever. Like,
real quick, just to chime in on that, I've never once listened to any of the Monster Hunter like cutscenes.
oh, for sure,
And
for
I
sure.
paid probably 80 hours. I hated them. Every
Yeah.
time they
Oh,
popped
of
up,
course.
The
I'm like,
narrative
get
of
the
Monster
fuck
Hunter
outta
wasn't
here.
exactly
Yeah.
like, you know.
But and so that may
Lighting the world on
that may
fire.
be a favorable thing for some people. One thing that I do miss from Monster Hunter is going into Monster Hunter and just going to the free roam mode. Like, you can do patrols here, but you're still on that time limit. You still need to take down a certain monster.
Oh, you're out on a
And
hunt.
Monster Hunter World was my first Monster Hunter, so I don't know if the prior Monster Hunters did that to where you could free roam. But one thing I miss is
Like go on an adventure kind of a thing.
yeah, one thing I miss about Monster Hunter World was the level design, to where there's a lot of scaling, there's a lot of elevation differences and stuff like that. And one of the coolest things I think in just video games period is seeing two monsters fight each other. When they just happen upon each other, and you get to suddenly you're in Jurassic Park and you're watching these two
that's cool.
giant things
Dude,
ignore
Rathalos
you.
taking on literally anybody.
It's so badass.
So good.
And like, there's none of that here because the only other living thing besides you and the NPCs, or not the NPCs, besides you and your teammates, are the behemoths. And there's just one of them there.
There's not even like small enemies.
No, there's nothing
There is
like
a
that.
Monster Hunter though, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of
like
little
a bunch
smaller
of
animals.
yeah.
and
In the
creatures.
world, like, you're kind of just like in this open world area or whatever.
Yeah.
In these shattered island, like sort of floating things, you're going to that island to take down that behemoth specifically. So again, it's free to play though, so you can't really expect a lot of features like that.
Well, also, I think, comparing it to Monster Hunter is not necessarily fair because Monster Hunter's been around since the early 2000s.
Oh, of course, yeah.
And Phoenix Labs is a relatively small studio compared to Capcom, and so they just did not have the same amount of funding that
sure,
a Capcom
yeah.
game would have, and the years of learning. But that being said, I'm with you that the world does feel a little bit empty, and hopefully, over time they'll continue to add art assets and diversify the NPCs and add in more creatures and things like that. So, and that's the beauty of it being free to play is that you don't feel like you're paying $60 for a game that's like half baked at launch because you're not paying anything.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah, I'm feeling very left out on this conversation. I've been wanting to. What I mean by that is I haven't played Dauntless. I haven't got to play Monster Hunter. I've always wanted to. I can only play so many games, man. I'm just like I say this all the time. But
Yeah.
So I meant to save this for the show. So yeah, I broke embargo in it the other day. Unknowingly.
I heard about this. I wasn't even going to bring it up.
Unknowingly, I'm super jazzed to play it. I'm like, oh, I have the game a day early before it comes out. Greg slacked me the code, and my first thought is
And
like,
didn't slack you the embargo information?
well, no, my first thought is like, well, there's no embargo information, but also this game's been out forever, so there probably isn't even an embargo.
Because of the beta and stuff.
Let me just play the game, right? And I'm like super excited and like, oh, like I have a lot of viewers because this game hasn't even come out yet. A lot of people are excited to see this brand new game. And I'm creating a character.
Even though it's been out, sort of.
Character creation is kind of light as well too. They do some interesting things with like, you pick the character's face. And then you pick masculine or feminine body, and the face kind of stays the same, but only like the jaw features will kind of like straighten out if you want like a hulkier, hunkier looking dude or whatever. But the hairstyles and again the facial features, the facial hair. Let me have the mustache disconnected from the beard, guys. Come on, it's
disconnect. I know,
it's 2019, right? We all want to feel included. But no, I'm just kidding. So I'm done with the character creator, and there's a couple people in my chat that are like, "How do you have this game?" And that's happened before. Whenever I'm playing a game that like the streaming embargo is ready to go, like it's up, so I can stream it, but it isn't out yet. And I've had people pop in the chat and be like,
that happens all the time.
"Yeah, like, hey, how'd you get this game?" Like, "Oh, I requested
they
a
give me a
code."
preview code.
Like, "Oh, cool, that's awesome," whatever. So there's a couple of people like in my chat asking me how I got it, and then one of them was like, "Hey, read so-and-so's message." You're like, I'm not saying that I'm ignoring them, but like read their message. Go look and read it. So I was like, okay, chill out. What the fuck? You know?
Yeah. Again,
And so
because sometimes you get people in your chat like, you read this person's message. You're like, dude,
Yeah,
like,
fuck
don't
you.
tell me
Like,
what
yeah.
to do. Like,
So I saw the message and it
good
was
that
like,
you
how
read
do you
it.
have this game? And I was like, oh, well, I work in the industry and I requested a code. So that's how I got it. And I'm just going along my merry way. And it's like, I'm the community manager and this game is embargoed until tomorrow at 7 a.m. Pacific time.
man.
Whoopsie.
I want a clip.
And
Is there a clip of that when you realize?
fucking
I wanna see
kebabs
it.
clipped the shit out of it. Are you
Kebab,
kidding me?
send it to me.
And so I'm just like, oh fuck, and immediately my body gets super
my
hot.
God.
You know what I mean? Like, and it's the same feeling you get when like you show up to class in high school or college, and they're like, all right, turn in your essays. You're like, what fucking essay, dude?
Yeah.
I didn't know that was an essay. My body got
You're
super
in
hot.
your
I was
underwear all of a
I was like,
sudden.
oh shit. So immediately I go to the home screen on PlayStation and I close out of the game and I text Greg and I'm like, hey, there's an embargo. Whoops.
Little problem.
And Greg is like, stop streaming. I was like, oh yeah, I cut off the game. So Greg called me while I'm streaming. And I'm like, yeah, so a couple of the community managers are in here and they told me, the game's under embargo. And so he's like, well, fuck, that's my bad. I didn't put the info in there. So then I move
Greg
on.
Miller.
I go to play Overwatch, but then Greg texts back. He's like, I'm looking at the email. There's no embargo information on the email at all.
That's not true. I
which
have
is-
the exact same email, and there is an embargo in the email.
Oh, really? So Greg's a liar.
Greg is lying too.
Wow. So anyway,
Here's
so
the-
Out him
here's
on
the
the
thing
show.
that might have
Maybe
been
he had a different.
might have been confusing though, and it was confusing to me. I had to double take because at first I panicked because I gave preview coverage of Dauntless, and then I got the second email with a second embargo, and I was like, oh shit, do I have to pull these videos down? I was like, no, I got access to a preview build, which was not the final build, and also we didn't show any gameplay.
Got it.
And then the second email with the code for pre-launch, very clearly in bold, says all covered is embargoed until 7 a.m. Pacific time on Tuesday, May 21st. This includes written impressions, videos, social posts, etc.
whoops. Yeah, so I was,
Got to read those embargoes closely.
so I
Yeah.
just felt like such a fuck, and like the stream started off with me being like, I answered somebody's question like, "Oh, Andy, how'd you get the game? It's not out yet." And I was like,
Requested
"Guys,
a
I'm the
code,
number
bro."
one games journalist, guys. Like, I got the scoops on everything.
Did you
I could
say that,
I could
like,
play
jokingly?
I was fucking around. I was like, I can play whatever the fuck I want, guys. Come on, you don't think I've played Death Stranding 3 yet? Of course I have.
Yeah.
And so I'm just talking shit, and then that happens. I'm like, oh my god,
Wow,
I'm
that's the
so
perfect
embarrassed
story
now.
arc right
Yeah,
there.
I was so embarrassed.
Oh my goodness.
But then I ended up, playing it yesterday, and for the last 2 nights I've been playing it. And yeah, I'm digging it a lot. I think if you are not looking to pay money and you want to play a game that still isn't super behind the paywall, like I haven't run into any issues like that yet. I think it's a lot of fun, especially when you're with a good crew that like is coordinated and stuff like that. I think it's fun as shit. You could still queue with randoms, of course. And which is always weird because you start off in the level and then you can go farm materials, or sometimes your teammates just go fight without you. And yesterday this happened to me, to where I'm farming and they were fighting, and I swear to Christ, for like 8 to 10 minutes, I didn't know where they were.
Because if they don't fire a flare for you to see, then it's going to be very difficult for you to find them, because they, as of when I played, they didn't have animal tracks in the game, and so it's really hard to hunt the behemoths.
I didn't know that was in the game.
If you're not. Wait, what?
I don't know. I don't know if I've seen animal tracks.
No, right, because they're not in the game.
Oh, I thought you meant now they would be.
No,
I see.
Like, as far as I'm aware, they're still not in the game. It's something I asked the team about when I did my preview. I was like, is this something you guys are considering? Because right now, like, if you get separated from your team and you're not, and if you're one person is close to the behemoth and the rest are far back, you'll miss all of the clues that show you where the behemoth has gone. Like birds flying in the air or trees moving or what have you.
I felt
you're
so
kind of
lost.
screwed.
I was like, my team's got to be so mad at me right now because I cannot for the life of me find them.
Hopefully they would fire up a flare in case you were lost. You know what I mean? That's the problem with not being on comms in a co-op game, right?
Sure, yeah. And you could turn on the mic, but I of course have like if I'm not playing with friends or people that I know, I have my mic.
Streaming,
you gotta be extra careful too.
You gotta be real careful.
But I think it's really cool. I do recommend people at least trying it out if you've ever played Monster Hunter or have been sort of like tangentially interested in it. I think it's fun. And there's a lot of monster variation too. I've been really
20 behemoth variations.
I've been impressed with all of them. Like everyone that I've seen so far, there's a lot of cool mechanics that I guess I was just used to Monster Hunter where you're just kind of fighting a thing that maybe like melees you, but I've fought in a lot of them where there's like a fire one that shoots out a spread of fireballs and you have to dodge them correctly at the right time. There's an electric one that shoots out like these electric barbs and they charge up in the ground and then they shoot an electricity like orb at you and you have to dodge that. Like there's a lot of like not traditional sort of Monster Hunter combat in here. It feels more like you're, I don't know, like a what's the word I'm looking for? Like a shoot 'em up or something like that. You know, like a gun hell, bullet hell sort of game. You know, it's really cool.
Nice.
I recommend it. Yeah,
I think I've heard nothing but good things, and there's not a lot of, or I don't know any other free to play games like this in the genre, right? I mean,
in the hunting combat
like was God
genre.
Eater ever?
so.
I don't really know, but
No, God Eater's not a free to play game.
Okay.
It's a traditional retail release.
So yeah, there's that's the nice part is there's like not a lot of competition. It's free to play. That's what you should be looking at. I mean, of course you can go buy Monster Hunter, but it's free. First, compared to other free to play games, and second in the genre, and there's just not much there. So I think it's great that it's out.
You can throw grenades. It's really cool. It's satisfying. The combat's fun.
Nice.
And it's crossplay.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's the thing too.
And
Yeah.
cross progression.
I feel like
awesome.
I've been playing with mostly PC players, except for like when I grew up with a couple of the guys that I play with, Tucker and Bushy. Like they're on PS4, but then for the most part, it's a lot of people on PC. I don't know if I've played with anybody on Xbox yet because I don't know if there's an icon to indicate that.
If it's
probably
Xbox
not.
versus PS4.
Probably not.
Probably not.
Yeah.
Because the platforms wouldn't like that. Probably.
Yeah.
Is my guess.
Interesting. All right, Fran.
Well,
As we saw in Nick's Instagram video, you were playing Beat Saber on the Oculus Quest in the kitchen.
Yes. So I wanted to try Oculus Quest, especially. I hadn't tried PSVR in a while. I've played Vive and Oculus in the past. It's been a while since I've stepped into VR because I can't play it at home really. I mean, I could. It's just a lot.
The setup's a lot.
I don't have a lot of space for it. And then I mostly only stream when I'm playing, and so I can't.
But
really
listen, if you can play in the Kind of Funny kitchen, you can play anywhere.
Yeah, seriously.
That's right. Unfortunately, you can't stream Quest because there's no video output. But what I will say is I was really impressed going from. It's just such a hassle. I put on the PSVR stuff. I'm like, where do I adjust? And like the whole thing, it's fine, but it's a big production. Then I'm like, give me the headphones, and I put on my headphones.
I helped him, and it was all the cords were all tangled.
And the cords are tangled, and then
I stepped on the helmet or the visor cord and unplugged it all yesterday. I was like, God damn it! Like,
and it just goes black too.
Yeah.
I'm sure, right? So anyway. I wanted to play them back to back as much as the fidelity and everything seems to be better on PSVR for obvious reasons. But I just put this thing on and right away it recognizes, that which controller is which. It was like showing. So wait, let me take this step back. I put it on.
The room
powered
stuff
on,
is cool.
And thankfully you can see through a very low frame rate black and white camera. It's a little dizzying, but you get used to it.
The pass-through camera is, to me, kind of a game changer.
It is because you put it on and you're not like. I mean, you have to have this for VR from now now on. Absolutely. Some of the I forget if
This
was
is
it
the
Vive
Apex
or,
pinging system of VR.
Yeah.
But Oculus and Vive, they have functionalities like that, I think, because I've used it in other VR before. Not PSVR doesn't have, but where you
I
can,
know newer versions of it.
You can see out of it.
I've
the
tried
newer
older
stuff.
versions of Oculus.
Exactly.
It's like,
Oh,
oh
we
my
got some
goodness.
fresh nugs.
Papa Nick is here
So
with
anyway,
the chicken
Thank you,
nuggets.
Nick.
Just putting it on and still being able to see. The first thing I did, I was like, wait, is this actually fairly accurate? So I was like touching things to make sure. I was like, okay, it's mostly what I'm seeing is not like out of whack.
It's one of the
'Cause
most
it's just a camera.
science fiction things.
Yeah, so-
like futuristic things where it scans the room and you're like, oh my god, this
Yeah.
is like the movies. Like,
So
Yeah.
yeah, like we heard Greg talk about this numerous times, and put it anyway. So I put it on, can see through it, and it recognizes the controllers sitting on the couch, and it's like L and R, and I was like, you know, you just knew which one to pick up and put them in my hands, and overall it was a very fluid experience. And then yeah, like I just went into the menus, started up. Eventually, we figured out where Beat Saber was, and yeah, it's so cool that you can just draw freehand. It's not like when I heard Greg describe it, I still think in my mind that it's like gauging what a circle is and it's like auto correcting. No, like literally you can just draw whatever you want on a floor in this grid and set your space, and then it sets a sphere around or a sort of cone around you.
Yeah, like I think it's called the Guardian system.
The Guardians, yeah, and it's so cool that like whatever you set, it's gonna tell you as soon as you start going outside of it. And
Yeah, it'll put like a mesh grid up in the game.
but then I'm like, wait, where are the headphones I gotta play? And they're like, you can just play it, of course. And I was
Yeah,
like,
because it uses audio that goes through your skull into your head.
Oh,
and
does it use that? I thought it was the. So it is the.
Well, I mean, there is a little bit of external too, but what's great
also-
about it is that you can turn it down so you're not blaring music to people around you, but it feels really loud inside your head, almost like you're listening to headphones.
Yeah,
If
maybe
you
I
have it turned on like all the way up, it is blaring out loud.
it's very loud. Yeah.
Well, yes, of,
I asked
of
them to
course.
turn it on.
But,
and everyone will come over and be like, "What's Kevin doing?"
We took a lot of video,
Let's record a
Kevin.
video.
So that's what I
but
wanted.
they have the option where you can turn that down, but you can still hear it very well while you're inside the headset.
Yeah.
Yes, yes.
But whatever. We've heard people talk about it a lot. It came out this week. I wanted to finally try it, and it is a game changer. Like it's
The game has changed.
you can't wait for everything to catch up. Fidelity wise, sound, the sound needs to improve, all that stuff. But for what it is, it's really amazing. And if you want like a simple VR experience that you might just pick up and play for a little bit and set it down, I mean, it's the best I've ever used. Fidelity wise, I did only play Beat Saber, but yeah, like that was a nice demo because it doesn't require a ton of fidelity, but it looked clean. Like everything looked good. It didn't stand out as like, low res
Screen
or
doors.
half res or
Yeah.
it just only had so much graphics horsepower. So it felt pretty good to me. I think the one critique I have so far is on the actual headpiece. It's very top heavy. Part of it, I could probably cinch it a little better, but also I don't think there's a slide for the bottom or there's no way to like really get it cinched to your face. Where with PSVR, they got a lot of soft material in there, and once
They
you
have
adjust
the screw in the back that tightens
Yeah,
it.
the-
it fits a little better.
Of all of the headsets, Oculus Rift was always the most uncomfortable, and the Quest is even a little bit more uncomfortable for me.
It was like uncomfortable for you?
Yeah,
Is that
well-
because it was just heavy or
Yeah,
like,
so I have a pretty small face, and so when I wear the headset, I have to really crank the tightness in order to keep the lenses in a place where the image isn't fuzzy.
Right.
And so I really have to tighten it across the top and across the back of the head. And to do that, it requires a lot of pressure on my face, which is why it's difficult for me to play VR for long periods of time.
But overall, it was good. I forget if it's $400 or $350.
It's $399. It launched this
$399,
week,
yeah.
and Oculus did send, kind of funny, an Oculus Quest headset. So just so you guys are aware,
Yeah, but they didn't send me
Disclosure.
one. So
They
I,
did,
I
but you
used
used-
it here.
you used the one that they
but
sent us.
In other words, I have no incentive. I mean,
Is the
Yeah.
it's just
but
disclosure.
do we
Fran.
know
No, I'm
battery
joking.
life?
Don't know battery life. That's a great question. So it uses a
Kevin?
USB-C cord to charge, which is great because it charges relatively quickly. But I don't know the total battery life.
Kevin, you get an idea?
Yeah, no. Unfortunately, I don't know the
It-
actual battery life, but I feel like I used it for maybe like 30 minutes, and it went down
Significantly?
a substantial amount.
Yeah, my guess is it doesn't have great battery life with what it's pulling for how much is in there. In fact, maybe some of the weight you're feeling is from the battery. But what I will say is I only charge it
It
for
says
about
2 to 3 hours depending on usage.
depending on the game too, obviously. So
I played the sports game on it,
yeah. So
and
they-
it was very basic.
oh, and I had the volume blaring. All of that's gonna be a factor. But when
But let's be honest, you're not going to be in VR for 2 consecutive hours,
Yeah, I mean,
right?
Maybe not you.
Oh, well, you're
Put
right.
a chip in me.
Wow.
I don't know.
Okay, you are right, not me.
Put a chip in him.
Andrew, I don't know if everybody's golf comes out and you can just look at caddies in there. I mean, Andy might
Just
be in
go
there
on
for
an
a while.
extended date with your
Hours.
caddy.
Just give me Caddy Viewer 2K20.
But I was going to say I charged it for a mere probably 10 minutes. It was fully dead because it was unplugged, and within upwards 10, 15 minutes at the most. I felt like it was 10 minutes. It was already almost 25% charged.
USB-C, man.
USB-C,
was
yeah.
so that was really good. So long story short, I would recommend it if you don't mind the lower fidelity and you don't want the hassle. Actually, it crossed my mind to like pick it up just for Beat Saber. And what I also really like about it, if you have friends or kids and family members, it's like, as evidenced by what happened today, it's like go over there. As long as you have enough space to play, and you can go anywhere with it, and you can just walk away.
And you don't need $1,000 to $2,000 computer.
Yeah, but you
know?
can walk
Right.
away with it. It's crazy. It's like go in the basement, go use it there, go any dark space. Or no, I guess you could probably play it outside, couldn't you?
Well, we've also played it.
No, maybe not.
We played it in the studio.
Can you play it outside?
Yeah, why wouldn't you?
I don't see why
Well,
not.
if it's too bright, I don't know.
No,
we
I
played
think
it
it's
with the
fine.
studio lights on. And
I
it
think
was
the
fine.
darkness is where you'd have a
because
problem.
there's no camera that is facing you to have the,
There's no
the
sense.
light
That,
issue,
but what's
right?
picking up the ground?
Isn't it infrared?
Oh yeah, maybe it's.
Yeah.
But there you go. If it's too
Also,
bright.
one more thing that I wanted to say. You were talking earlier that like other people can't see it,
See what?
like the gameplay.
Oh, what you're playing? Yeah.
I believe
That's a bit
if
of a
you
downside.
have like a Chromecast, you can.
Cast it from your
Oh,
phone.
you can go
'Cause it
Wi-Fi.
so the piece that we haven't really talked about is that the way that you can actually connect and download games is through the Oculus app on your mobile phone. So you have to have an Android or an iOS device, and then you install the Oculus app, and then you connect the Oculus app to the Quest, and that's how you run the Quest for most games, or how you can
But you don't
update the software and stuff.
Yeah,
But you
like-
don't have to be connected to the app once you've got everything set up.
Yeah, so once you've got everything set up, you can just go into the app store on the
On the Quest.
on the Quest
On the
and
headset,
and
yeah.
download games and stuff. Yeah,
Is there a Netflix app on that?
yeah, there is.
Wow.
Yeah, it's good.
So
way
it
to watch
launched.
stuff, too.
It
It's cool.
launched this week with 50 plus titles, many of which were on the Rift, including Dance Central VR, Keep Talking and Nobody Explodes, one of my favorite VR games. The Climb, of course. We've got Beat Saber, which we've been talking about. Vacation Simulator, Super Hot VR, just to name a few titles. Moss is also on there, one of my favorite VR games from last year. The most time I've ever spent in VR was with Moss.
Nice.
So I think that if you guys have been holding back on VR and you're interested, this is a great entry level. I think what's better about this than something like Samsung Gear or even like a Google Cardboard is that it's certainly a step up visually, and it doesn't require the substantial investment that a Rift S or an HTC Vive would require, or even that a PSVR would require if you don't already have a
'cause
PlayStation
you still need the
4.
Pro, exactly.
You need the camera. You need
Yeah.
room for it to look at you. You know. Yeah, I think so a PSVR is what, 300 now, right?
Well, it depends. We did a deal of the day earlier this week that had it on sale for 180.
Whoa.
Wow.
Yeah.
Really? Holy crap.
But sometimes that doesn't include all the.
It came with Astrobot and Moss. But listen, those deals, those flash sales come and go all the time.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I think the retail is $299.99. Let me double check.
Yeah, might as well double check.
Yeah, I think the wireless, it being wireless, and also the controllers are great. Like I love the Oculus controllers.
They're so good.
They're probably my favorite of the
I would totally agree
the
with
three,
that. Yeah.
like over Vive. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
I enjoy the feel of them. I enjoy the button
Yeah, you-
placement, the sticks of
You
them.
forget about them a lot.
It
Yeah.
looks like
they do a
brand
good job
new.
with that.
It says on Amazon here it's $219.95. So
Okay.
$200,
Nice.
But
yeah, so it's more expensive, but
but it's not portable.
there's like a demo when you first get the Oculus going, where you can, like, it's one of those, like, you put in a cartridge, you get to play a game, and it was like a shooting gallery game, and those the controller makes it feel so realistic. Where when you go
Really?
to grab it, it feels like you had a gun in your hand.
Dude,
Yeah.
Kevin,
like
oh, sorry.
No, sorry. I was just gonna say super hot was cool once I realized how to, because that was the first time I used
Oh,
it.
yeah.
Like I was like, I can't grab the gun because I thought it only had a trigger on it, on the controller. So I'm like trying to grab the gun, and I'm like, in the game you see your two hands. I'm like, what's wrong with my hands?
Oh,
Why
yeah.
can't I grab the gun? And then I realized just your thumb.
Face buttons, yeah.
There's a second button for your thumb, which is it's sitting right there. I didn't even realize.
It's perfect, man.
Yeah.
Shout
Kevin,
out.
I'm really excited for this is not Oculus Quest related, but I really want to try out Firewall with that new DLC that they're coming out with.
I haven't even looked into that.
I would love to do like a party mode of that. It's a pain in the ass, but
yeah, it's a pain in the
yeah.
ass.
But it'd be cool. It'd
But
be
dude,
cool.
Firewall is so good.
Yeah, it'd be really cool.
Well, since we're still talking about Oculus, I'll talk very briefly about some of my hands-on that I got during Judges Week. Both Greg and I went to this event during Judges Week where we got to try the Quest and the Rift S. I go into a deeper dive in this week's episode of What's Good Games if you guys want to hear more about it. But we got to play 3 games. The game on the Quest was called Phantom Covert Ops by Sansaru, and we also got to play on the Rift S, which is like the upgraded version of the Rift, Asgard's Wrath and Lone Echo 2. So Phantom Covert Ops was an interesting game where it's a tactical stealth first-person shooter where you do on-water traversal in a tactical kayak.
What?
And these are all Quest switches.
This is just one game on the Quest.
Okay.
The other 2 were Rift games.
Okay, that's what I was trying to keep up.
So I also, like you, went, that sounds
Canoe game?
interesting.
It sounds like you named like 6 games.
right? So the idea is that you play a covert soldier,
SOCOM.
right? Yeah, exactly. SOCOM, but like in a kayak. And so you're seated while you play this game, and you have like a traditional like kayak oar, and you have to row to the left and to the
wow.
right with the controllers in your hand to move yourself through the world. And the rowing felt pretty smooth. You don't bob around a lot because obviously that would cause a lot of motion sickness in VR, and you don't really feel any resistance from the water, which I liked because then your arms would get super tired. But I found it difficult to turn, just like it's difficult to turn in a real kayak. And so I had some trouble there, but it was an interesting concept. You know, you can stop in like high reeds and like hide there. You have 3 weapons. You've got a silenced pistol, you have a sniper rifle, and an SMG. And so you can use them for various situations. You can use them to take out light sources, to sneak around people, and
You're
to
always
shoot
on the
guards.
boat.
You never get out
I
of
see.
the kayak. So it was a little interesting of an experience.
Maybe you are just part man, part kayak.
Maybe you just have like
have no
a
legs.
Yeah.
bionic kayak
Yeah.
for your bottom
Yeah.
half. It was an interesting idea. Graphically, however, you could tell that it was on the Quest and not on the Rift.
Got it.
Like there was a marked difference in the quality of the graphics. And I don't know if that's just because of the style of game, because it's meant to be realistic. It's simulating real plants, real water, like real humans, versus a game like a vacation simulator or a Beat Saber, which is just like all
Blocks
fancy
of color.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly. And so that to me was a little bit off-putting, because after playing a demo in the Rift S, it was difficult to go down to the Quest and see the downgrade in the graphics, especially since VR is difficult enough for me to play as it is, because I get very nauseous in
Yeah.
VR. That said, the traversal felt really good. The guns felt okay. The sniper was my favorite. So with the 2 Oculus touch controllers in my hands, when I would raise my hands up to my face, like I was holding the barrel of the sniper and then like the stock of it, when I held it up to my face, it would aim down the scope.
Oh, cool.
Which was
pretty neat.
which was pretty cool. So it would like zoom.
And could
zoom
you
in
do
on
hip
the
fire
scope.
if you tried?
You could do hip fire,
Oh, wow,
yes.
okay.
Not that you would want to with a
Right.
sniper rifle,
Yeah, yeah.
but you could.
The fact that it distinguishes between the 2 is really cool.
Based off where
yeah.
you have your hands,
Yeah.
it
Or
was
differentiates.
It
What's
was
the word I was looking
it
for?
was a really cool feature. I did find that the stealth was pretty forgiving, which was nice.
Good.
But once you attracted the attention of the soldiers that you were trying to avoid, I mean, you were pretty
was
much
it. Game
dead.
over.
Yeah. I mean, the SMG was okay, but like it had so much wobble because you're in a kayak. So like imagine trying to hold like an automatic weapon when you're like in a kayak on water.
It's like pushing you back.
You know? So that was a little weird. I would have preferred a crossbow. I felt like that
that'd
weapon
be cool.
lends itself to a stealth FPS style of gameplay.
Laser sight.
But yeah, and then the silenced pistol was rough because it was only iron sights.
Oh, gosh.
And so it
Maybe
didn't
you get
have
upgrades.
It didn't have the same like zoom mechanic that the sniper rifle did. There may be upgrades later on. I didn't get a chance to ask the dev team about that, but an interesting title. Phantom Covert Ops. And then quickly, the two other titles I got to play on the Rift S, Lone Echo 2. Did you guys ever play Lone Echo?
We played Echo Arena.
Yeah, I think I played that with you.
Yeah.
Oh, so good.
Yeah.
That was so fucking. If that game, if a dumbed down version of that went to like the Quest, holy shit, I'd be on that in a heartbeat. Because Lone Echo, it's more of a story based. Right?
It is a story. It's like a single player story. So the characters are back. I didn't play through Lone Echo. I only played Echo Arena as well. I think I played a demo of Lone Echo, but never played all the way through the story. But it essentially picks up, it's a direct sequel, picks up right where that game left off. I found the motion in that game, because if you remember it from Echo Arena, at least there, that floating through the world, it felt faster.
Yeah.
So I didn't get as sick. This one, you move a lot slower, and I just I had to stop the demo. Like I thought I was going to hurl everywhere. I was like, I just can't. I'm sorry. I can't play.
I'm not great with moving either, but for some reason, playing Echo Arena, I was totally fine.
Yeah.
I have no idea why. It was really
it's
bizarre.
weird how sometimes certain games, a lot of that also has to do with if the frame rate is optimized for the headset or not. Little things like that you don't necessarily notice if you're playing on a flat screen, but in virtual reality, if the frame rate isn't optimized, it can really affect your motion sensitivity. And then Asgard's Wrath was, wow, what a surprise how absolutely gorgeous this game looks in virtual reality on the Rift S. So this game is a action RPG set in the world of Asgard, so of Norse mythology, all the characters you remember from Thor and from God of War.
Kevin, we should try to copyright Asgard.
Everything's Marvel now.
Yeah, good luck.
copyright
Good
it.
luck
We can
with
make
that.
a lot of money on it.
Let me pull up my notes here. So you get to play as a variety of Nordic heroes, like Loki is one of the people you get to play as, and there's large instances in the open world setting of Asgard that you get to play as, and they have this cool mechanic where it goes from being first person on the ground. You come across these totems in the world where you go into God mode, where you pull way back in the world, and it's like a fixed camera. You can kind of look around in the level to help you solve puzzles or figure out like which part of the level you need to traverse to move on to the next section. And there's I go into great detail about the fun time I had in my game, including finding a humanoid shark as my travel companion. So if you guys want to learn more about that, I do encourage you to check out this week's episode of What's Good, because we have a couple more things I want to get to.
Wow, it's a 30-hour game.
30 to
Oh
40
my
hour
God.
gameplay experience.
Wow.
Yeah, full RPG in VR. And like I said, because it's on Rift S, like the graphics looked fantastic.
Yeah, it looks really good.
Really
It
did
looks
a
really
good job with this. And they have this really badass like Lady Viking you can play as. Anyway, I also wanted to talk, Fran, about your power per hour grind
really?
in Destiny 2.
Oh man.
Or would you prefer to talk about Operation Dark Hours instead?
Yeah, it's a tough call. I mean, I could talk about it, because I've been playing both Division 2 and Destiny. Like, that's a good idea.
So maybe we
I
talk
think-
about Dark Hours.
Yeah, I think probably talking about the raid, because we haven't got to talk about it on the show since.
Yeah, we
too
talked
bad
about
Greg's
it a
not
little bit
here,
on Games Daily,
to
but not
touch on
much.
it.
Yeah.
So yeah, like you, just like your team, just like Greg and myself and a number of other kind of funny clan members went out last Friday night and got into the raid, and everything seemed fine at first, and we clear the beginning of it, and
Famous
there's not
last
gonna be any
words.
spoilers, but then you get into the first boss room, and most everybody knows this by now. It was brutal. We've been talking about it on Games Daily and stuff, but they have a big problem that consoles because of the frame rate and the accuracy of what you can do with the controller and a bunch of things, how much detail there is in an animation, a weak point, your chance to actually aim at those weak points. It seems like it's been totally optimized and built around PC and that performance, and
those
console
sirens
players
are on our end.
Yes.
And I also want to take this opportunity. There may be some light spoilers for the raid. If that's something that you're trying to go into blind, just it's just your light
You're gonna just say
spoiler
something?
warning.
Okay.
I mean, like I'm going to talk about like the boss's name and like the mechanics and stuff. So
It's very minor, is what I'd say. We shouldn't
because we
spoil
haven't
how
got. At least
to-
I haven't gotten past the first encounter.
let's-
So
yeah, I wouldn't spoil maybe how to beat him if that's what, or do you?
Oh,
wanna?
I mean-
exactly. So it won't matter.
I mean, like it's a division boss. It's,
yeah, you shoot him.
take down his
but
armor
there are
and then you
mechanics.
shoot him.
We won't go. But there are mechanics.
It's not.
It's a good point. I would actually say you don't have to worry about spoilers as long as we don't go into how to get to him and weaken him. But anyway, long story short, we have this big problem. Not many people have beaten the raid, in particular on console. People are beating it now, but it took some 36 hours versus like 5 hours for the first clear on PC. And then how fast has it gotten to on PC, you said?
It's down to, I think, 23 or 24 minutes is the
25
speed
minutes to-
run for PC. And then I think the fastest console clear is 3 hours.
Yeah. So that's the difference we're dealing with here. I mean, they're both skilled players, teams, that know how to do their build outs. And so I'm disappointed with that. I went in pretty excited in the beginning, just sort of was a bunch of enemies. And I'm like, okay, but I did a good build. I felt good. We had a whole team and it felt good. It felt big. And then you get in this room and it's got some mechanics to it. So that was interesting. I kind of expected it, I guess. It wasn't like a weird puzzle or anything. It's just sort of how you...
It was super puzzle light.
It's a little Destiny-esque, I would say, in some ways. I think they've caught some things.
I think Destiny is way more intricate with their puzzles.
It is, but it did, like, frankly, it pulled a little bit from some mechanics in Wrath of the Machine. I mean, it could be coincidence, but whatever the case, got in there. There are mechanics. I liked that, and I was feeling pretty good. But then you face this boss, Boomer, and was just doing, like, no damage. Like a team of 8 people, like trying to crush him, and he would you knock him down. He gets up within like seconds.
Yeah,
and it just wasn't fun.
And the AOE for his melee attack is gigantic. So he's got this like almost looks like a minigun, but not quite. But it is like
He's
a Gatling
holding a
gun
big-
style weapon.
Vulcan Raven.
And what he does is if you get too close to him, and by too close I mean if you're halfway across the room from him, he'll like punch it
pretty
forward
unforgiving.
and hit you with it.
Yeah.
And one of the whole mechanics is you have to kite him around the room, and it's really challenging if it's your role, if it's your turn to kite him around the room in order to get to the DPS phase, because like the sprint mechanic in the Division 2 is not great, right? But somehow, despite the immense amount of armor and this gigantic weapon that Boomer is wearing and holding, he runs hella fast.
I was watching some of your stream and I was like, I thought he was just like a random baddie. And I was like, why is this guy so fast? This is the most athletic man I've ever seen.
Yeah.
And it's unrealistic. And that's a problem in the Division 2 at large, is that a lot of their elites that are really heavily armored like that are incredibly nimble. Like they're doing these spin moves and then they're rolling over tabletops. They're jumping down from high ledges without breaking a sweat. I'm like, your kneecaps would be broken in all of that armor.
They got the best of the best, They got the best of the best.
But yeah, it wasn't what I expected, and I don't know what's to come, how many more bosses. I don't really want to know the exact details. So I do want to do it on my own with obviously a team, 7 more people. But man, like I had to go back and tried to redo a build because I realized I was like, what I had.
You're doubting yourself now.
What's that?
Now you're
doubting
yourself.
No, I wasn't doubting myself.
Okay.
I just had like, you can build so many ways in Division 2.
Right. I mean,
and I was heavy skill, tons of healing items. Like I could heal like crazy. I had like 11 of these chem launcher tank. I could heal everybody and myself and it'd be no problem. Plus I just had tons of skill. So I had all these cool mods on my abilities, and I actually had an amazing LMG loadout, but for a DPS, what I needed to do within seconds, that was the game breaker where that build doesn't work. But also, too, just with my health and armor was not great. But I had all the healing and I thought it'd be fine, but not the way this works.
Yeah, so the frustrating part about the raid that we were talking a little bit about on Games Daily this week is that the way that they designed at least the first encounter, I can't speak to the subsequent encounters, is that you really can't use your skills at all. Your skills are virtually worthless. Everybody has to run like healing chem launcher Saber, and then maybe like Hive Revive or like the
you mean offensive skills?
like
There's not
turrets are
the
useless
fixer
and all that
drone. Essentially, because if you put a turret down, it is a target for Boomer. Just like most of the elites in the world, if they see a turret, they auto target the turret and will smash it instantly. And then you have to wait for the refresh. And the really tough part about what Fran was talking about with skill power is, in order to really utilize a lot of these high-end mods, your skill power has to be through the roof. So when you're speccing for skill power, most of the time you're sacrificing weapon damage, you're sacrificing critical hit and critical chance, and you're sacrificing potential elite damage buffs as well. And so it's really like you have to make an incredibly specific build just for this encounter. And I don't know how it works for the subsequent encounters, but it's like, I don't know if I find it fun to have to min-max a separate loadout for each encounter of the boss, knowing that it's really difficult to get the buffs that you need because of the way the RNG works in the loot system of the Division 2.
Yeah, it's like...
Is there any word of them tuning this?
No, they...
So that was the story today.
Yeah.
Go ahead, give them the bad news.
They had said over the weekend, Reddit sort of blew up and it's like, what is going on? It's so much harder on console and it's so difficult. And then one of the UB forum folks that was on Reddit, I think, works at Massive. It was like, we're open to changes. It sounded like that meant, okay, they're discussing it. And sure enough, we show up to the State of Play, which went out yesterday. That's their weekly show for Division 2 that Ubisoft does. And the community developer confirmed, he's like, no, there's no changes coming. Like, yes, we're open to it, but this is it right now. So get in there, change your builds. And he didn't say it like that, but that was pretty much where you're at, is like, they're going to see where this goes. But it's, to Andrea's point, it's like...
But I wonder what the completion rate is. Like,
that's what I want to know. That's
because,
what
like,
I want to know.
Because you can tell me that like console takes 3 hours more than PC or whatever.
People are doing it now. That's all they have to say.
How many people on PC have completed it compared to console?
Those are the numbers I want. How many people tried? How many people out of the active player base are raiding?
Gave up.
Well, that too. But like in Destiny, we knew the number. Usually, people who raid in a giant group that's hard to get together was 10 to 15% of the entire population. You already know it's going to be small,
right?
But I'm really wondering what that number looks like for this one right now.
Same, and I think the really challenging part is we know raids are supposed to be tough.
Yeah.
I'm not complaining that the raid is hard.
No, absolutely not.
The frustration is that there's very much a difference between the way that the DPS is handled for the boss encounters and how PC has a clear advantage from an input controls perspective than console players do. Not only that, it's difficult to get 8 people into a raid that all have their builds optimized the exact way it needs to, if one, you're not in a clan, or two, if you're potentially with people that are in your clan that just have not been able to get the drops that they need in order to optimize their builds. And so, like, you should be able to go out and grind. It just felt like we spent like 6 hours at that first encounter and had like nothing to show for it when we left.
Got nowhere.
Like, didn't get any drops at all of any kind, not even like consumables. And like there's like no loot boxes like to get materials or anything. So it's like, did I just waste these 6 hours when I could have been doing encounters in the regular open world that maybe would have dropped some loot, you know?
I mean, you didn't know then, and that happens with raids.
No, of course not. But like it was just a frustrating thing, and like I don't know when I'm going to go back to the raid, because that means I need to get 7
It's hard to organize.
Yeah, I need to get 7 other people that have min-maxed their builds specifically for the raid. And it's like, when's that gonna happen?
I mean, I'm committed to doing it. It's just going to take so much time. Like you're saying, I would like to find a team that can go in at the times I need and stick with it. It's so hard to keep 8 people together, let alone keep going back with them. But
well, and like I think the frustrating part for me, Fran, is it doesn't need to be 8 people. The only reason it feels, at least so far, that it needs to be 8 people is because you need that many people doing DPS. And it's like, in Destiny at least, you understood why it needed to be 6, because there were specific encounters, at least in the beginning. Obviously, we've had plenty of people who are like solo driven or whatever.
You have 2 people over here.
But like, it's like this person has to pull this lever while this person's doing this over here, and these 2 people need to step on these plates or what, right? But like, it doesn't feel like there's any mechanic like that at play in the raid that I've seen so far.
Yeah, I mean, You're right. I don't know that it was necessary. Maybe this comes into play later. Like, actually, the first outside area was a big area that you had to control. And so 8 people working a very big area made a lot of sense. That's why I was like, oh, it's like big.
Right, but like
And
if
then-
you're just making the
No, I
map
know.
bigger so you can have 8 people in the raid,
know,
it's
I
like,
was-
but why?
No, totally. But that's where you go
That
inside.
seems that's enough of a challenge.
Yeah, you
to
go in-
have that many people.
Yeah, you go inside this next room, and it is very small. Like, in theory, though, some people are on ad control, but you all have to get together to do this DPS phase, and it's very difficult. But I would take a step back and ask, and I think this is what we've touched on a little bit, but like, is it fun, though? Like, it's the simple thing. It's like, 1, is it fun? But 2, it's an adjustment for, especially, I think, players like us, for Destiny players. It's like, normally you would encounter something like that, and maybe we even play for 8 hours, but you get a few rooms in, you step back, and you're like, man, yeah, you know what? I should have used... I was using Whisper, so I should have used Wardcliff, and you know what? Instead of this subclass, I should have used that subclass. But there was other options.
Right.
I'm feeling very much that it's like, 1, there's not many other options for your builds. Like, you probably need a super high DPS AR, and who knows?
Or LMG. All the speedrunners that I've seen are using LMGs.
It's funny that, that's good
Kevin,
to hear. I have
LMG, light machine
but,
gun.
I don't have a build for that, which leads me to my next
That's
point.
my favorite kind of gun.
AR,
Like,
It's
assault
funny
rifle.
that my build is LMG, and I'm like, whatever. I don't have enough
What's
DPS
AR?
out of it.
Assault
Assault
rifle?
rifle.
let me write that.
Accelerated reader.
But what it,
DPS damage per second.
but the problem that you start to realize, and this seems to be what you'd be saying though, is that yeah, you're not just gonna like go back to your vault and grab the LMG, Andrea. You know what? Do you have that Gilligard? Just equip that. It doesn't work that way. Do you have an LMG with these stats that you've infused up? That is the highest power. Do you have the Gilligard with these stats that you've infused?
And do you have 3 pieces of that
And
armor set to get
activate
all of the
this
stat
other
buffs?
perk?
Yeah.
Have you now got your elite damage over 90%? But also, do you have your crit hit chance? It is such a spreadsheet.
And do you have
game.
7 other people that are like that?
And do you-
Exactly.
so I would at least point out, though, I appreciate that is a different kind of game. It's very tactical and strategic. But what happens on the fun side is you do all this.
There's none of it.
And I've already played for 120 hours, and like I just don't have those things. So guess what? I'm going back to the world and grinding, and I mean, it's going to take a lot of time, and it's a weird feeling that it's just sitting there. And what I find is raids kind of start to pass you by. And what I don't want to have happen, it's the biggest thing I complain the most with raids, is I want to do it blind. That's why I'm so always sensitive to spoilers and stuff. Like, I want to do it on my own. So 1, I want to get together with a group that's on the same level. But sometimes you play with that group and they start moving on and doing their own thing, and they'll come back and help you. I
Right.
don't want your help. I mean, if I have to have just your help, okay, now I need you to be quiet. But then what you do is you go to LFGs and Discord, and you're like, I'm trying to get groups together that are random. And you might be like, hey, can we do this blind? And they're like, yeah, but then next thing you know, somebody's blurting stuff out. And dude, the last boss has a X, Y, Z. You're like, And so you miss a moment in time. And that always bothers me because I want to be a part of this experience. And now there's teams that manage to have the right builds. And we're dedicated enough, to be fair, to get the stuff and have people in their network to do it. But I feel left out, potentially. So far, so good. It's blind. I'll go back in and we'll see. But I did use Division 2 as a pretty good Discord, an official one that you can get into and use for matchmaking on all platforms. You should try to use it. But I did that, and it was kind of funny. I was doing it on stream, and it was interesting, to say the least. But it was still kind of fun, but we didn't make it that much farther. And everybody knew how to do it at that point. Like you're saying, new builds,
Yeah.
new people. Hard to communicate with that team, though, and that's what I was getting at before. It's like, if we stayed together and kept rehearsing for days, we probably could do it, but I'm never going to see these people again, so I got to start over. But when Greg gets back from Florida, maybe.
Well,
Yeah.
One last thing. We talked about this kind of at length on the Game Over on a Kind of Funny
you got
podcast.
5 minutes.
The God of War
You
documentary
got
is
4 minutes.
fantastic. Raising Kratos is so good on
I've
YouTube.
heard that it's a tearjerker.
It is. Oh my gosh, I teared up nonstop.
It's a beautiful video.
It's so well done. It shows how difficult it is to make a game, not only just any game, one of the best games of all time, and it's so good. There's a lot of chill moments, a lot of goosebumps. You see how tough it can be being in game development. So that's a lesson to all of you budding game developers. It's not easy. Shit's not easy.
Where do you watch this?
YouTube. It's free.
It's just on Sony's PlayStation YouTube channel.
Yeah.
Raising
It's
Kratos
2
documentary.
hours. It's fucking great.
Dang, I would like
But
to
it
watch
is
it on my
spoilers, so
flight,
make sure
but it's on
you
YouTube.
played it.
I wonder if I can.
YouTube Premium, free trial. You can download it. On
If you
your
have
phone.
Oh,
YouTube Red,
thanks.
you can download. That would be smart, yeah.
Oh, excellent.
They don't call it
You got so
YouTube Red
much
anymore
time.
because that
I
sounds like a
know.
porn site.
Oh, it's YouTube Premium.
Yeah.
Well, this
YouRead.com.
has been a fun episode of the Kind of Funny Gamescast. Thank you so much for joining us. Again, if you guys want to watch the live pre-show and post-show, head to patreon.com/kindoffunnygames and get in on that membership action. Thanks again to our Patreon producers. You guys can also hit subscribe at youtube.com/kindoffunnygames and on your favorite podcast service, wherever you are in the world.
Around the globe.
The globe.
God, you all missed.
Thanks, everybody.
See you next time.
And now I'm going to do a pickup for the ad toss because I forgot about it. Do you want to just do it now?
I don't think we need it.
Like this episode is brought to you by? Nothing? You can just insert the ads?
Yeah.
You could do it between
Okay.
a pause and
Okay.
topics, probably.
Yeah, between Andy and Fran. maybe.
Oh,
Okay.
gosh. Don't get me
Panzer's-
started,
Thanks.
Panzer.
Panzer says if only Fran was playing Division 2
Don't
on
get me
PC. Kevin,
started.
here's the thing.
I'm listening, dude. What's
It's
up?
so have you like? It's the
right,
easiest
guys.
thing in the world to
Bouncing.
click on an
See ya.
icon by
I'm
Andrea.
in London. Andrew's got to go to London.
London meet and greet, everybody.
London meet and greet.
Sunday,
How
3 to
Sunday,
6.
Sunday.
Kevin, how fucking easy it is it to click on an icon on your desktop? PC gaming's so fucking simple. I want a challenge. Dual sticks. That's where the difficulty is, Kev.
I mean, that's how gamers game. You know what I mean?
you just like
What games
you
do
ever
you
click
game?
like a document on your desktop? It's just easy. Click.
Yeah.
Accurate.
Yeah.
I'm
Ooh,
just
easy,
it's accurate.
yeah. I've never once been like, oh man, I can't click this
I'm
folder
clicking the wrong
icon.
thing.
Come on in
It's
here.
fucking bullshit,
So
dude.
easy.
It's so
I'm gonna
easy.
use the bathroom if you guys can. 1 second.
Steven with a PH here, in fact.
I'm gonna use the bathroom.
More like Steven with PhD, am I right?
Oh, what's up, Andy?
Ooh.
What's up, man?
I don't know.
What you guys talk about today?
Oh my god.
Oh, we talked about Dauntless. We talked about
Video games.
everybody's golf VR and how there's a moment where you can flirt with a woman on a
damn.
He
balcony.
Andy talked about that like a
Talked
lot.
about it at length. Really
Yeah.
into it. Really into it.
It was nasty.
We need to get you out of the house.
It was very. I mean, dude, the game did it. It's the game's fault, Kevin.
I get it, dude.
Like
I
if it's
get
just if your caddy's cute, that's one thing. But if your caddy interrupts your golf match, you go, let's go check out the sights.
And then she
And then you
bends
stand on
over.
the balcony behind her, and she turns around. She's like, "It's gorgeous, isn't it?" You're just like, "What's going on here? Am I supposed to make a move?" You know?
Mr. Yasman 300 super interested about whether Nick gave me nugs or not. He's been asking. No, but I had already eaten, so I
Yeah. See, the thing is, me, Fran, and Andrew did not have time to eat lunch,
that's
That sucks.
yeah,
so the food came
But
back, and I ate the nugs on stream or on camera.
like a badass. Woo-hoo.
Hell yeah.
But away from the microphone. Really good that we don't have
Ignacio
the
Rojas
laughs.
says PC gaming does suck.
It does.
Very
it's
true.
trash. Get your Excel games out of here, man.
Dude, I can't. I forgot about that game Echo Arena, Kevin, and I just really wish that was a way
Echo
that was
Arena.
easy for us to play it. It's a VR game that we played.
It was so much fun.
It's
dude.
basically it's fucking it is gosh, what's that movie with the little kid in the future?
Ender's
Terminator.
Game.
Ender's Game.
Oh, okay.
It's 4v4 and you're in an arena floating around and there's a disc that you have to throw in through the goal.
Is that Ender's Game?
Yeah, the battle arena.
Yeah.
Okay.
And like you fly around like Iron Man, like you aim and you're flying and you grab the disc and you can pass it to a teammate. and You
Gotcha.
throw it through it was the coolest multiplayer experience that I've had.
You know
on
what
a
could
VR.
use a
It was
VR
incredible.
game is Rocket League. That would be really cool as a VR game.
No,
Oh
it's
man, I'll
too
be
fast.
so
It's
not.
too
I'd get
fast.
so nauseous.
Too
Everyone would
fast?
vomit, yeah.
Nah.
Move
But you're
fast.
but your body is registering that you're sitting down in a car.
That's not how that works. That's the problem.
Is kind of how it works.
No. The problem is your body isn't registering the movements, but your mind is, and that's why you get motion sickness.
But you're sitting down.
No, but your body's not feeling the
matter.
inertia. When you're in a vehicle, your body's feeling that movement. When you're
I
sitting
mean, I
down,
get sick when I feel the inertia, though. So
Sorry, everyone.
Yeah, some people
Yeah.
are weaker.
It's the same reason I
that's a
get car
different
s-
kind of motion sickness.
it's the same reason I get car sick when I look down at my phone and I'm texting like in the back of an Uber.
yeah.
And I'm like, oh, I'm not seeing the world move around me, but I'm feeling the movement.
interesting because
So it's throwing me off.
there was a tank game that you can play in VR that I didn't get. It was like the first game I played in VR where I didn't get motion sick. The ones where you do
I know that.
like kind of like move around and stuff, like where it's just your body, you're not in something. Those were the ones where I was like, oh, I want to like I feel my body is getting
Dude, the
hot.
Drive Club VR one fucked me up.
Oh, really?
The Drive
Oh,
Club
so
VR one
good.
when you're driving and you're sitting in a chair and nothing's happening around you, but you're seeing yourself zooming through this world.
yeah.
There was a moment where I spun out and my vehicle like it does this crazy turn, and I just felt like when the car stopped, I felt my body still going. I was like, oh my God,
Yeah.
this
I
sucks
love
so
that
bad,
shit.
dude.
I love it so much.
It's so bad.
I don't have that problem. And then one more thing I was gonna say to you, and I forgot. Fuck.
Who, Barrett, Fran?
My name's
It's
Fran.
Barrett. No, I didn't forget the name.
That's Fran.
Hi, I'm Frank.
That's Andy.
Remember when I kept forgetting your name, Kevin,
Remember
on
when
the
I keep-
episode of Party
I
Mode?
keep
Remember when he
forgetting?
always fucking mixes us two up?
Yeah, I don't know why.
To this day.
the tank game. It moves really slowly.
It's fair.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that was
fair.
why you didn't have that effect. Because I played that tank game. It was fun.
Yeah. Yeah.
Battlezone VR, says Panzer. Thank you so much.
We're
It was
talking about
bad.
how
That's
uh,
the tank
Echo
game.
Arena, the lone Echo game she's talking. Did you ever play Echo Arena? So it's basically like Ender's Game, where it's 4v4. You're in a big arena.
Nobody
You're floating
watched that
around.
movie, though.
Huh?
Because
Or read the books.
Yeah.
Or
So you're
that's
floating
true.
around in a big
Did you read the
arena,
book?
and it's very much.
Yes, I
it
did.
looks like a
Fran would
futuristic
be a
sport.
dork.
And there's a disc flying
that book.
around.
It's a really good
And you
book.
can pass it to your teammates, and you have to throw the disc to this goal. But you're flying around, and it's really cool. When you would get to the disc, maybe somebody else can latch onto you and climb up your body and take the disc from you, or they can punch you in the head, and you get stunned for a while and you can't move. It's fucking awesome.
It's so cool.
But you're
It's-
talking about getting sick in it as well.
No, in
No.
Echo Arena, for some
You were
reason,
not-
I had no problems with Echo
It
Arena.
was so well made.
Yeah, it's just so smooth. And also, we were playing on like very high powered PCs.
Yeah. Part of it is getting used to it. Like, yeah, I used to get car sick a lot easier. Yeah, like looking at a phone or reading a book even. And then
It was the worst trying to play Game Boy in the day back in the
Yes.
day when like my parents we'd vacationing, like we're going to Austin to visit
Doing, like, a
family,
10-hour drive.
and I'd be in the back seat, and it's like I wish I could fucking play
Yeah,
Pokemon
you
right
could.
now, but
Yeah.
like
But now you
I have to
could, no
look
problem.
outside and like
Yeah.
breathe and open the window and
But
like
now you could, no problem, right?
why?
Meaning, would you be able to do it now?
No, even when
You
I'm in the
still
back,
get car
when
sick
I'm in the
now?
back of an Uber, it's hard for me to like
Oh,
look
really?
at my phone because I have to like look outside and see the world
you
moving.
get car sick pretty
Apparently,
easy.
a trick is to like have your phone held
Yeah.
up
So you
like
can see
this.
peripheral.
Yeah.
They sell glasses that have like a water line that will move around, and that's supposed to like trick your
Really?
mind into not getting motion sick.
Huh.
It's really
Glasses
Cool.
that what?
Like it
It's like a
has
water
like
line.
kind of like a water
Yeah.
line
Like a
on
level?
the side. So
they look
like
really, really dumb. They look like straw glasses.
They sound fucking dumb.
It's
Sounds
showing
like some-
you the horizon,
But, like,
which is
yeah.
that's one of the big things they
Show
tell
me
you to
the
do is
horizon.
look at the horizon, so you get a pretty good. Your
But,
mind
yeah.
attaches to it really
Pan-
easily.
Panzer says, dude, Echo Arena Party Mode would be amazing. It would be, right?
Dude, remember we had it?
Remember? I still have all the files.
I'm so upset
we
about
recorded
that.
a party mode, an 8-person party mode for
And I
Echo
trusted
Arena.
them like a fucking
and
idiot.
the fucking, Kevin, we trusted their audio people. The audio in this game is just,
trusted them.
like I yell and it just goes,
oh no.
like that's all the audio. It's so bad.
was
Andy,
the-
I volunteered to redo all the audio.
Yeah, we should have.
What was
know?
the
still
VR
can.
game that PlayStation VR was really pushing? It was kind of like an arena like ball game where you're
Oh,
in these
yeah,
like mech
it
suits
was-
or whatever.
It was like some dumb
Chat
name,
will help me out here.
like
But you know, like the like
Rapid or something like
yeah,
that.
it was something. I remember it being
It
at
was
like
PSVR?
every.
Jaw?
It's like
Yeah.
it's like a Monday.
You like throw balls to each other or something? Like
Well, not
It's the
really.
same vibe. Oh, it's like a. Oh God, I don't even want to. Don't even tell me, chat. Don't even tell me. Don't you read it. Don't read it when you see it.
I don't
There's
know.
Don't read it
nothing
when you
there
see
yet.
it.
I don't know if they're gonna
You know what
come
it's
up-
like? It's like the VR version of
You're
like
like that
Monday
caddy
Night
right
Combat. That's what it's like. It's like the VR version of that.
No
but it was
answer.
a
They
word,
don't know what it
right?
is.
It was like a word, like Mac or something.
It was something dumb like that.
Oh, rigs.
Rigs.
Yeah,
Yeah.
ro-
Really?
It was like robotic.
Cameron just came in right as you were saying.
yeah.
Riggs was
Riggs
the
is-
first game I had to play for IGN. I walk into my first day. Destin's not there. I show up and I'm like, hi, I don't know what to do here. My boss
Yeah.
isn't here, and it was either you or Sam who were like,
Sam.
oh, like, do you get sick in VR? And I was like, I don't know, I haven't played it yet. And Jose
Strap
Otero
it
was
on.
reviewing Riggs, but he was getting so sick in the game that he needed someone else to capture it.
Oh,
so my
God.
first day was playing Riggs,
Oh,
and man,
God.
I was fucking sick by the end
Oh,
of that
you got
day.
sick playing
Yeah,
all that.
Man, that's
not
delay.
motion sick, but like my body
Yeah.
would get so hot.
Oh, really?
Because like you're outside and you're in this mech, so like your body is supposed to be registering like wind
That's
resistance.
motion sick, dude. Yeah,
But it's a
that's what
different
that
type
is.
of motion sickness. Though.
I mean, it's still VR sick. Like if you take that pill that people take when they're on boats because they get seasick, it's the
Dramamine.
same. If
Yeah.
you take Dramamine, it's still
Yeah.
It's the same like sort of concept.
it was a different
You're
like,
sitting down and your body gets hot because you're like starting to sweat and you're starting to kind of feel nauseous
Yeah.
because you're seeing yourself moving and doing all this crazy
But I know
shit.
what
no
you mean.
nausea.
There's
no,
like
no
a-
nausea though.
But you were getting
was
that, you know,
interesting.
I think what you're
Yeah.
talking about, you know when you get nauseous and you get a hot feeling? You're just getting just the hot
You
feeling.
get, you get
Yeah, it's the
lightheaded.
hot.
You're like, oh,
which
fuck.
I actually was getting a little bit only from using the Quest see-through cam because it's really slow frame rate.
Gotcha.
But yeah, it was nobody likes motion sickness.
Ignacio Rojas asked, Barrett, what was it like having Fran as a boss? He was my
gosh.
boss's boss, so I didn't really know.
I didn't
like,
bother you too much.
No.
I fucking loved it.
I mean, you scared him, though. That was the thing.
It was
didn't scare
the
me.
best. It was the best because Nick quit, who was my boss at the time, and then I was like, "Who's my boss?" And Fran was like, "I don't know. Just come ask me questions."
Yeah. Well, I said I'm your boss now. So you can call, I said for now. And then
It was
ask me. He did.
Fran as my boss's boss, I'll just, he would come over, be like, Barrett, what you playing? I don't know, Fran, some bullshit game that Dustin put on my desk. Cool. Here's all this information I know about this game. Thanks, Fran. And then he'd walk away. And that's what it was like to work with Fran at IGN.
Well, sometimes I had questions about the game, and I was
That's
like,
true.
"Sure."
And then
Wait
I
a
would
minute.
know
Usually-
absolutely nothing.
I'll tell you.
Are you
normally,
seeing this Cameron Kennedy post?
I hooked my PSVR up to my Switch and played. What?
Is that possible?
What?
Is that possible?
Cameron Kennedy, I don't fucking believe you.
Don't you fucking lie to us. We love you, Cameron. But
What?
don't you
I
lie
hooked
to
my
us.
PSVR up to my Switch and played Zelda
How do
in
you
3D
get the HDMI input
for a
into-
bit without the low frame rate of it being handheld?
And also, what Zelda?
I mean, and also you say like you.
Breath of the Wild.
Yeah, didn't they come out with the VR?
Oh, he says Switch. Sorry, I totally missed the Switch
Yeah.
bit. Because I was thinking, like, is there a way to do that with a 3DS because of, like, the 3D feature?
Can
on
you
the
just
3DS?
use your PSVR? Like, there's an HDMI input on it or something? I haven't.
Well, no, yeah,
Interesting.
HDMI out to the TV, but instead of the TV, you're plugging into the little box that goes HDMI in. This is interesting.
You know, but how do you get the HDMI into the PSVR? Is what I'm
Cameron
asking.
Kennedy says, I can promise I did it. It was a mess of cables. Send that over of like what the system was of
Yeah,
plugging everything
let
in.
me get a video too of you doing it in your boxers.
Don't do that.
Wow.
Not in
I
your
mean,
box.
hey,
Don't do that.
That's his choice.
Are you playing Nick right now? That's such a
Whenever
Nick
Nick's
thing to
gone,
say.
Kevin
And
will
then
play
Kevin
Nick.
plays a straight man and goes, "No, you can't do that."
Well, it's Cameron, like he's cool.
Yeah,
Cameron's got a tutorial.
Cameron does all of our video intros. You know that?
Yeah.
Video what? Intros?
Intros. He does like
Yeah.
all of our
really?
in review shit.
Yeah.
Wow.
He did like the Toy Story in review, which is really cool.
Dude, he
I need to
killed
see
it
this.
with
I haven't
the-
seen him.
His first one was a
Disney
Spider Verse one.
The Spider-Verse one was so fucking cool.
The Disney one where it goes from
look
4:3
right
to
now.
16:9.
Yeah, and it's like VHS to HD.
Such
Yeah.
a cool moment.
It's very
And
talented.
I think
After Effects wizard?
Yasman was also asking. It could have been someone else. Like when y'all are watching Aladdin, the new Aladdin.
I'm watching it this Saturday
Mem-
at 3 o'clock.
I'm
I
watching
want to see it.
Memorial
I'm
Day.
not like going crazy about it. I'm busy.
yeah,
You're A-list, dude. Let's do this.
Yeah.
Movies every day with us.
I don't think I'm seeing it this weekend.
Hey, remember at
Pokemon
6:45, I'm
in
going to
review?
call you to cancel the thing. I'll
Just text me.
No, he did.
So this is like Kevin's trying to like scheme the system for AMC A-list right now, where he had me reserve a ticket for him under my AMC to save him a seat because he already has 3 booked up. And so once he sees his 3rd movie later today,
Once I see my second movie.
once you see your 2nd movie, it'll like
I'm gonna
open
hit you
up.
up. I'm gonna hit you up,
And then I
you
cancel
can
my
book it.
ticket reservation
And
so
hopefully
he
that
can
seat-
get it last second.
So hopefully that seat will be open, so I get to sit next to Joey.
What
not,
movie
I
is this for?
stand- I
Booksmart.
think Booksmart. Yeah.
Yeah. Joey
What?
says it's fine if they don't sit next to each other.
Oh, she didn't
Damn.
mean it though. She was saying
Damn-
like you
damn
know
it.
like you know or else
I do want to see Booksmart this weekend though.
you should come with us. You already have a ticket.
I'll just take your ticket, Kev. No, I told myself you can watch it live tomorrow on youtube.com/kindafunny. But if you're a Patreon, on patreon.com/kindafunny. I talked about in the Kinda Funny podcast this week where I would make myself watch John Wick 1 and 2 before we see 3 this week. So I want to make myself at least watch John Wick 1 tonight. So that's
I
what I'm
watched
doing.
both of them. Oh,
You haven't even seen one.
I haven't seen either.
if
Any of them.
I
Yeah.
have it on my Voodoo account. If you want to log in and watch them.
Sounds like a lot of work.
That's really easy. You just log in on your TV.
I don't know. I have to download
John
the
Wick 1
Voodoo
was good, man.
app.
It's like
I
one
like
of the
it.
most unapologetically action movies ever.
Yeah, but
where it's like, you know,
it's not
you're
trying to
you're-
be anything else.
You're not here for the dialogue.
Yes.
You're not here for like clever Mission Impossible, cool like heist or anything. You're just here for fucking Keanu Reeves destroying people,
It's
and
really
it's
cool.
awesome.
Prepare for me to kind of like it. Not like
here we
love
go.
it, but kind of like it.
I actually don't think you'll love it. I think you'll like it and like enjoy it for what it is. But
Yeah.
after I finished the first one, I was like, wow, I really dug that, but I don't love it.
Yeah.
It wasn't until part 2 that while I was watching it, there were several like brutal kills where I'm like, oh fuck, like this is awesome. Keanu's just great.
Barrett, I have a feeling you're gonna go the opposite way. You're gonna start growing your hair out, trying to match his style.
Wow.
Dapper Steven with a PH says, Barrett, how many, hey Barrett, you're right, Batman Arkham City is the best Batman did you get because of Beyond? I woke up to like at least a couple dozen of those tweets this morning. I was like, what the fuck is happening? And it wasn't until someone hashtagged Podcast Beyond where I got the idea to actually listen to Beyond this week and figure out what was going on.
Oh my god, Kevin, something crazy happened
Well, I'm
recently.
listening, dude. I'm listening. I'm also bleeding a lot.
Remember when we did that beluga video?
No.
What?
Where we reversed the
Oh,
beluga
yeah,
video?
yeah, it was funny.
Dude.
Did he say he was bleeding?
I think he said he's bleeding.
Yeah, I
a
heard
lot.
that. Yeah, he's bleeding.
That happens all the time.
So I believe Mariel from Rooster Teeth thought that my version was the real version.
Whoa.
She was on Always Open. There's the video of how a woman dropped a phone in the ocean and a beluga brought the phone back to the woman, and the woman got the phone. I was like, oh my god, this beluga like
Did that
knew-
really happen?
Yes,
Yeah.
it really happened.
Yeah,
really,
yeah,
really
yeah.
happened.
Real
It
life,
just
dude.
came back up and
Yeah,
she
like it
picked
had the phone
gave
in
her
its
the
mouth.
phone.
What?
Yeah.
And so me and Greg started making jokes, and we were like, we should revert. Like I was like, no, this is actually reversed. Like the woman was feeding the phone to the beluga. So then I actually tweeted it out that like nobody believed, like everybody, this is fucking bullshit, fake news.
This is the real
This is
one.
actually a woman feeding a phone to a beluga, like just horrible
Oh,
stuff.
it's like reverse.
Yeah, so I just reversed it because it looked like she
Yeah,
puts it in
yeah,
the
yeah.
mouth, so
was
they're
very
talking about this
funny.
video on Always Open, and
So they
and
pulled that
Mariel's
one up?
like, no, it wasn't real. Like it was actually a person putting a phone in a beluga's mouth.
Oh, they thought it.
She
which
thought
to
my
me
version
makes
was-
way more sense. Had you showed me that, I'd be like, yeah, they just reversed it.
But then even
which-
then, like there was a
But,
lot
like,
of
the
people that thought I
ripples
was
and
serious, and
stuff.
were like, the raindrops are going backwards and the ripples are going back. Like, all right, chill the fuck out, man. It's a joke.
that's funny.
Ignacio Rojas says, Barrett, I'm replaying Arkham Knight for the first time in a while. Thoughts on the game? I'm also
Get 'em
replaying
started.
Arkham Knight. It's fucking
I hate
awesome.
them all. I know you.
People who hate on that
You put it in
game
the box.
are dumb. That's what
Wait,
I'll
what?
say.
People that hate on what?
people who hate on Arkham Knight are dumb.
Fucking hot
People
topic,
hate on-
Gabby.
People hate on it because of the bat tank, which I think is
Oh, yeah,
only
that
a
shit
valid. It's only a valid criticism when you get to the bat tank stealth stuff, where you're like hiding from bigger tanks that
Oh
can
my
take
God,
you down in a
so
shot. That's
annoying.
where I was like, okay, y'all could have backed off on this, but I liked the rest of the bat tank stuff, and the story is fucking cool.
I just for the people asking in chat, I am bleeding from my thumb because I had a callus that I tried to cut off.
Oh my god.
All right, well that's it for the post show. Thanks for watching, guys.
I went a little
We'll
too
s-
deep.
we'll see y'all later.
Well,
Love
you
y'all.
know, now there's
Send
blood
Kevin help.
everywhere. No,
Thank you, everybody.
Until next time.